Welcome back to another episode of Rap Drinks. Today's guest is Alex Tellez. Alex is a former athlete turned director, DP, specializing in storytelling that blends powerful narratives with a commercial edge. Drawing from her sports background, she creates impactful work across social campaigns, TV ads, and organic content. Passionate about elevating underrepresented voices, Alex thrives under pressure, delivering meaningful stories that connect sports, culture, and humanity. A lot of her work can be seen on social campaigns for Nike, On, Hoka, and Salomon. Alex, welcome to Rap Drinks. Thanks so much for being here.
Thank you guys for having me.
You did a great job.
That was fantastic. Super
Thanks.
well done.
Thank
I was
you
like,
so
waiting.
much.
I was waiting for you to fuck up.
I was waiting to fuck up.
Just nailed it.
You nailed it. First one take wonder.
Hell yeah. I can't tell you how many times we fuck up the intro on this show. It's like, it's part of our jam.
I would mess it up for sure. I feel like that's like your radio show moment. It's like,
Yeah.
can you be a radio host?
Yeah, I don't think I could go that far, but I mean, I could be on my own podcast for sure.
Yeah, as long as there's no boss, yeah, it's totally fine.
Just hire and fire myself. Yeah, I'm golden. Alex, we're so excited to have you here. It's tough, coordinating with people that aren't based in New York all the time. And like whenever our friends are in town, we try to, schedule the day around them. So I know we tried this before, and now we actually got to have you here. So yeah, welcome. Maybe you just want to start off and give us a little bit of background about where you're based, what you do, and what you're doing in New York right now.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys for having me. I mean, I'm so stoked to be here. I feel like podcasts like this are like what I'm watching nonstop. So I'm glad you guys are doing this, and I'm happy to be a guest.
Oh yeah.
I'm originally from Dallas, Texas. I never really love to claim it, but can't really change where you're from.
Mm-hmm.
So based there, I wanted to get out of Texas as soon as I possibly could. So I applied to colleges everywhere but Texas, which is a bit opposite. I feel like everyone's like A&M, UT, TCU, all the Texas schools, but I went to Florida State, go Noles. And then right after college, I moved straight to New York. And then I lived here for 6 years, which is where I met you guys.
Mm-hmm.
And then I come back a lot to New York because I started my career here. So a lot of my network and a lot of my community still is here. And so I was back in town shooting. The U.S. Open is happening this week. And so I'm in the tennis world and do quite a bit in that space. So I was back here shooting for Tennis Channel.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy. Why don't you like to rap? Why didn't you want to rap Dallas when you were in Texas? Like,
I don't know. It's just Dallas. I mean, it's changed a lot, thankfully. Especially like, especially
it's safe now. It's safe.
It's
now.
It's a little bit better. I think Austin is really cool. Dallas is just notoriously like such a like cut from the same cloth type of place. Like everyone is like pretty much the same. Not very open minded. Not very like, accepting of other opinions, if you will.
Oh, okay.
But I would say like post-COVID, so many New Yorkers came, so many Californians came that like it's really changed. Even just like now we have some cool coffee shops. Which
Yeah,
I'm
I was literally gonna say.
Yeah,
so you got like bagels now and shit.
Literally. Like we have. I mean, the food has always been great, but at least now we do just have a little bit more culture, I would say, than growing up when I was growing up there.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I'm sure a lot of the other Dallas OGs are not happy about
I
that.
know.
Though.
It's like I'm from Dallas, but I don't rep it.
This place has changed.
No, for real.
That's cool. So yeah, I mean, definitely like working with you back in the day when you were here in New York was really fun because we would do a lot of work for, I don't know if we want to drop their names, but we would do work for AKA, which was like an agency that did a lot of work for Broadway. Mm-hmm. And you used to be on set like, I don't remember your specific role for AK, so maybe give us a background on that. But I remember you would always have a camera in your hand. You'd always be like helping us out on shoots and stuff. They would hire us freelance, but there were like staff people there. And like that's kind of where we met and like we worked together.
Yeah, AKA was actually like a crazy time in my life because the like lead director, I guess that was his title there, Jamal. Mm-hmm. He actually found me on Instagram. That was like my first like finding.
Wait,
Instagram
found you on Instagram?
Like literally my career is everything comes back to Instagram. Every story does. So he found me on Instagram. And at that time I was posting work as I do right now. And I was like way more mysterious about who I was. Like I never really posted images of myself or like even said I was in college. It just strictly was work. Jamal found me. He DM'd me. He was like, hey, love your work. Like would love to like hire you as a DP on a project. Like we can bring you out to New York, whatever. And I was like, actually, I like outed myself right away. I was like, actually, I'm in college and I need an internship to like graduate. Can I would love to like come and be an intern. Is that like an opportunity? Is that an opening? Fast forward, it worked out. And so I came to AKA first as an intern, and I was doing, to your point, what role was I doing? I was doing everything, like whatever they needed me to do.
You
It's
literally just filled the gap.
Yeah.
Whatever it was.
Yeah, like if it was resizing things, if it was like putting easy ease on an animation, like it was like super niche things, or
Easy ease.
or I like would go and pick up Jamal's, like he had this thing where he would have a new pair of shoes for every shoot he did. And so I would like go down to Kith and like pick up the shoes that were his like shoot. Like I did literally the whole gamut of things. And then slowly like worked my way up into like, they then hired me. They then offered, like I went from an intern to like a full-time job. I think, I don't remember the title, maybe like a junior editor or who knows. But that was like my first proper job.
Do you remember what post he saw on Instagram that made him want to hire you?
I never know what post it is. I have no idea. No one ever says like, this is the one. I have like hunches based on like the analytics. I'm not really, I guess I'm like, this one has the most views. Maybe it's that one.
Yeah.
But yeah, I have no idea.
That's so wild.
I just love that he was like, we're going to hire you as a DP. And you're like, can I intern?
Can I get not paid?
Like, honestly, like in hindsight, I was like, I don't know why. I just didn't know.
No, totally.
It's
Yeah.
like I didn't know the dance. I didn't know the like navigating of the business. But in hindsight, I look back, I'm like, why didn't I just fake it and like take it?
You could have
But
just jumped a huge step.
I know, literally. I just added, I was like, actually, I don't know anything.
I guess from that sort of trajectory, once you were done at AKA, what did you move on to next?
Yeah, so I knew I always wanted to freelance. Like that was always in the back of my mind, but I just knew, like I didn't think that I could practically do that. I was quite honestly like too scared to just like jump into freelance. I feel like when you jump into freelance, it's always like, well, how do you meet people? Like how do you find a client? How do you even do that? And that was definitely like my biggest concern. So I went to New York after I like was interning, and I was like, okay, how am I going to make this happen? So my strategy was like, I'm going to work at as many different companies as I can, maybe be there for like a year and a half at most, and then jump to the next, and then jump to the next. So I knew AKA was like a short stint for me. And my goal when I was there was like, I don't want to like fake network with anyone, but like, let me find my homies at this place and like really like form a true friendship with them. And the hope would be that when I leave that company, eventually that person would also leave and hopefully go to like hopefully a cool company.
Yeah.
And then they would like remember me. So I was at AKA, I want to say like a year and a half, maybe 2 years. I then left that company and went to ClassPass, which is like a fitness boutique app of sorts. I was there also for like a year and a half. And then I went to Daily Harvest, which is like a food. Do you know Daily Harvest? They like sell.
It's like delivery food to your house.
Yeah, they started with
healthy.
they started with smoothies, and then I think they've now evolved into like proper plates and like meals, kind of like a Factor meals or like.
They weren't like the company that sells the ingredients. They sold
No,
you
that's
like
Blue Apron.
Blue Apron.
Yeah.
Sponsor us.
Are they still around?
I don't know, but sponsor us.
Literally. But it's similar, right? Like they would just send you meals that you can like heat up.
Yeah.
And so then I was at Daily Harvest for like also 2 years. And then that's when I finally went freelance. But yeah, I kind of like made my connections where I could at these companies. And once I felt like I like hit my ceiling, I was like, okay, now let's go to the next.
Got it. And then when you started, like you were getting, Jamal's reaching out to you as a DP. Were you doing more DP work? Did you want to just stay the DP lane? Were there other things that you wanted to focus on? Because now you're a director DP, but like when did you decide to kind of merge those two roles?
Yeah, I think the merge has actually happened somewhat recently. Not really by choice, but more so just like by people putting me in those positions. I thought for sure like a DP was what I wanted to be. I remember like growing up and just always having a camera on me and like always just trying to find beautiful frames and always geeking out about frames. Never really geeked out about story. Like it was always just like, this is look at the sun. The sun is coming through. Like just always looking for the sun. So the director part has really just, I think just with the shift of how content is these days and that becoming more of a like hybrid role, I've started finding myself more and more in a director DP role, and then now even more so just straight directing and not DPing anymore.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
How does that feel? Just to like not have a camera in your hand?
I get that question a lot. And I actually, and this is where I'm like, man, maybe I'm like really walking in my purpose. I could care less. Like I've been asked, like, do you want to jump into the DP and like grab the camera from him and like go? And I'm like, not really. Like, I think I like really am like, yeah, you worry about it. Like you take it. So it's been, it just felt like a natural progression.
You were always kind of more interested in, I mean, not that you weren't interested in shooting, but I feel like you were more interested in what you were shooting versus like the technicalities of like
Totally
getting that image, you know? And I feel like that's when you start getting up to that level, that's the DP's thing is you talk to the director and they're like, I want the light to feel like overwhelming or I want it to feel super moody here.
Totally.
And it's like, you don't have to like, now you don't have to think about that. Now you can go work with talent and make sure that you're getting that correct.
Yeah, I feel like that's so true. Like, I feel like even when I thought I was just DPing or I thought that was like my path, I never really, I wouldn't geek out over the camera. I wouldn't geek out over like, if we got this, if we rigged the light over here. Like, I just, all the technical elements of it, I was always like, what do we have? Let's figure it out. Like, I never really got into the weeds with it.
Yeah. Yeah. And like, I don't think you need to. As a DP, you don't need to. But then when you get to a certain level, then you start, the DP is more managing all these departments below him.
Totally.
Especially when you have like camera operators and steady cams and they're not even touching the camera. It's like the DP is just the manager of that technical department.
Yeah, totally.
It's not as fun tactile. You know?
Right.
Whereas the director is then just like kind of has their hand in each department and can kind of manipulate each department, production design, lighting, camera.
Yeah. And I did feel like as I was or in the moments where I thought I was a DP, I felt like I cared more about the overall of everything. And not that I ever was told like, hey, you're overstepping or what have you, but you can kind of like read the room a little bit and be like, I would want to make revisions to the set, or I'd want to make revisions like to the wardrobe, or like super, super niche little things. And a DP doing that is like, girl, relax.
Yeah,
like
that's when they're like,
yeah.
Why don't you just light it better?
Your thing is the lighting. Just worry about that. But yeah, I really thought as I was just DPing, or that was my role, I cared way more about everything else. Or I would find myself in situations where like the talent wasn't doing what the director was asking, or the talent felt like a bit stiff in front of the camera. And because I'm right there behind the camera, like with them, I found myself stepping in at times of like, or you could try something like this, like trying to help disarm them or make them feel comfortable.
Yeah.
And oftentimes, like that would work. Like my suggestion would work. That then I started realizing like, okay, maybe there is something there for me that like, maybe it's not. Maybe
I think
it's
right. Such like a natural transition because I don't consider myself a director at all, but there's definitely moments where I'm in these situations with talent and I'm the only one that can get this action out of them. I'm the only one that can draw whatever I can out of them because it's like it's me and them. They don't know what's going on.
Totally.
The director doesn't really know what's going on. They're only seeing it from a monitor. They don't understand this context.
Totally.
And it's like in that situation, you either thrive or you fucking fail.
Yeah, no, 100%.
Like if you don't know how to do that, then you're just like holding the camera. Then you're just a camera operator.
Yeah.
At that point.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I completely agree.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
I mean, that also comes down to, I guess, the relationship with everyone on set and, like, the relationship with just the vibe of what you're trying to do. Because I can understand, like, someone in your position not wanting to give talent that direction in that moment because they don't want to step on someone else's shoes.
Yeah, you don't want to be
director-
conflicting, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Totally.
You don't want to give different direction, but like to your point, like that's part of the collaboration that I feel like culturally can not exist on certain sets, especially if like you're on there for one day. Like,
Yeah.
if unless it's like one of your homies that hired you, or like if you're hiring an operator that you trust because you know they're gonna be in that situation, it's a very kind of weird thing to navigate too.
Yeah, and I mean, I am also super aware that I was like fortunate enough to be on sets where that collaborative nature was welcomed, because I've also been on sets where, like, super early in my career, where I got put in my place, where like I would speak, the director would come to me and ask me, like, this was more when I was like in the AKA days, and the director would like ask me like, hey, can you grab me a juice or like something small, and I would like go grab the juice and like go give him the juice, and then the producer would come to me and like, you don't speak to the director, there's a chain of command here and you can't go direct to the director. And I was like, oh, okay, I'm so sorry. So like I know that. And especially like when you start speaking of like bigger jobs where it's like you can't touch the camera, you can't touch, like, you can get into those types of sets where it's way more there's politics around it and just like legalities around it all. But I'm lucky that a lot of my sets have been super nimble and agile, and has been such a collaborative, like, yeah, let's figure out what's the best approach here to get the best result.
Yeah, that situation though with the producer seems like the producer was looking for a fight, because it's not like you brought a juice over to the director and you're like, hey, what's up with that frame? Like,
It seems like they wanted a juice too.
No, totally. Like they probably saw it all out of context and thought maybe I was like the young, I mean, there can be that young person on set that's like, let me talk to the director. It's like, no, you don't do that. But they probably missed the whole context that I was requested to go get the juice.
Even still, I think that's such a weird thing. Unless like the director's in the middle of like doing shit. But if like the director's just kind of hanging out, I don't see the harm in like walking over and introducing yourself. Like,
yeah.
It's a reading the room situation.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
There's some PAs are very good at reading the room, and they can like be like, oh, they're not busy, I'm gonna go
Totally
talk to them. And then there's other PAs who's like, you're in the shit, and the PA's like, I have a question. Why you? And you're like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Who are you?
This is not the time, my
This is
guy.
the worst time ever.
Oh man,
That's something that can't be taught either. That's just like,
I know.
Yeah.
you have to like have spatial awareness. You know,
I
It's
know.
like-
And it's a different level. Like, it's not just like general, like, on the playground type of like awareness. It is definitely a different. Yeah. It's
and
a
you have
different
to
level.
know, like, a lot of times on set, you have to know how to like dip in and out of like a conversation. Like, I
Yeah.
could be having a conversation with you about something and you're really into it, and then someone needs you. I have to be able to just like stop conversation
Yeah.
with you. You do your thing, and then like when I see you again, I can like kind of try to pick that back up. you know?
Totally. It's like, you want to talk about deeper stuff than just the weather, but at the same time, you can't go too deep because it's like, dang, now we're like,
Now we're just hanging out. We're on
Yeah.
set. We're working. Yeah, exactly.
yeah, that happens a lot more than you think.
yeah.
How did you like get, so were these companies that you were going to work at, were these like specific to a niche that you wanted to get into? Like, because ClassPass, that's exercise, I would say sports content.
Yeah.
Daily Harvest, not really sports content, but
Not at all.
theoretically, the people who would be using the products would be people who are
In fit.
trying to be more fit, healthy. So it kind of fits.
Yeah.
Was it like a conscious decision to kind of focus on those two? And is that ultimately what led you to what you're doing now?
Yeah, it definitely was a conscious decision, but I don't think that would be giving me way too much credit to like look at Daily Harvest and be like, oh, this is health conscious. This is like, I didn't look at it in that sense, but I definitely looked at it maybe a bit broader of like ClassPass fitness. Like, for sure, I want to have some connects in the fitness world. And then Daily Harvest was more so just food. I was like the food industry as a whole, like, but I would say at neither point did I know I wanted to be doing sports. Like, the sports thing clicked like way after all of that. It was solely just like what I liked about the difference between ClassPass and food was that it was two different industries that wouldn't overlap. So like, worst case scenario, if it didn't work out in the fitness industry, now I've got the food industry. So it was more so of a like trying to spread myself as wide as I possibly could, rather than like niche myself down. But that would be clever if I had thought of like, oh yeah, and then now I can do like the health and wellness side of fitness of like the food.
No, that makes sense. Because your ultimate goal, I mean, you already said it before, was just to like basically cast this wide net to try to become friends with as many people in these different industries. So then when they left and went to different roles, they would remember you.
Yeah.
And I think that's like super smart. Like, for someone who's starting out, that seems to be a really good path right now.
Yeah, I mean, it worked. I mean, yeah, it has worked well for me. I think a lot of people, it's like scary to just go freelance or to skip college and go freelance or to do college and then try freelance. It's like freelance is solely based on who you know. Or it could be based on like your social presence. Like if you're Instagram or if you have a YouTube, like whatever it is that you're doing, if like you have some sort of recognition and credibility that somebody would hire you for. So knowing that out of college I didn't have that, I was like, I need to know people.
You almost did. But you said you wanted an intern.
It's like, can you just bring me down, humble me a little bit?
What was like, so when you left Daily Harvest and you finally committed to this like freelance thing,
Yeah.
did you stay in New York? What was like the hardest there must have been like a hard transition moment.
Yeah, so at that time it was like peak COVID and I was working at Daily Harvest and this was crazy when I look back, but like I was directing shoots for Daily Harvest because I was like their lead videographer and I was directing shoots for Daily Harvest via Zoom, which was wild. So the only people on set would be the food stylist, which was like essentially our key talent for our smoothies, and then a DP. And those were the only two people that would be allowed on set. And so I was living in Dallas at the time, and COVID was like, not that it wasn't done, especially in New York, but we were starting to like figure out the system of like doing COVID tests and then being able to shoot. And so as that was like ramping up again, that was when Daily Harvest had asked me to move back to New York. And I, ironically, like saying that I wanted to get out of Dallas, I now wanted to be in Dallas. So like a 180 had happened to me where I was like, I actually kind of like this. Like I don't have to like walk 10 blocks with my groceries. I can do my laundry at home. Like there was a lot of like convenience factors of like being in Dallas that I just like sacrificed and willingly sacrificed to live in New York to like have this experience. But once that started coming back and I started coming to terms with that feeling of like, I don't actually want to be in New York. I then like resigned and I quit Daily Harvest and started freelance and was living in Dallas. And I think as a whole, the industry shifted because I think before, for sure, if you were freelance, it's like LA or New York, or I guess maybe also Atlanta if you wanted to be more like, doing TV series or films. But for sure, you had to be in LA or New York. And so during COVID, though, I started once I went freelance and I started telling my network that they were flying me out places, and it wasn't even to New York or LA. It would be like Arizona. Like I think one of my shoots was one of my first shoots was crazy, was going to Arizona to film Michael Phelps, which was wild.
Whoa!
But like I started realizing that was when I started realizing like, okay, I want to do sports, and if I want to do sports, you're going to where the athlete is, and no athlete is in New York, like unless I guess they play for the Knicks.
Maybe they come to New York and you work it out, but if you're gonna go watch the athlete or film the athlete wherever they're doing their thing,
exactly,
you're going to them.
Yeah, and a lot of them are training in like they're in Boulder, like the running community is in Boulder, the tennis community is in Florida. Like you now start realizing like what these hotspots are of where the different genre of athletes are, and they're not in LA or New York. So I then realized like or the events, right? Like if like the track meet is in Oregon or the basketball game is in Iowa, like it just doesn't really matter where you are. So I started focusing on like clients and the types of jobs I wanted to do, and didn't really like define like I'm New York based or I'm Dallas. Like I started realizing that it just didn't matter, and it was just, are you willing to travel? And my answer to that was always, yeah, absolutely, wherever. So I didn't feel the need to come back to New York.
That's the dream too. Getting hired to travel is like, that's the dream.
Yeah,
right there.
It's. And I'm sure you guys feel this too. Like it is fantastic, but it also can be like so draining.
It's not as like amazing as it sounds.
I know.
I feel like it's amazing for like the agency people.
Oh yeah.
Because they get to go and they're like, oh, we're in Spain. This is amazing. Like,
totally.
oh my God. And they show up on set and they're like, oh, it's amazing. Look at the thing. And then they're like, we're going to have a dinner. That's great.
Totally.
And then meanwhile, you're like schlepping gear and shit.
Like I actually just got done with a job in Spain, and I literally I flew in, shoot was 2 days, I flew out. I was in Europe for 4 days.
No, that's just wild.
It's insane.
Yeah.
And I'm not, I think to your point, the agency is like, and after Barcelona, we'll go to Madrid
Yeah.
and just have a little vacation. Like they make a whole
'cause
trip out of
they
it.
show up for like 8 hours of your 48-hour adventure.
Right. Right. And then they make a trip. Like they're
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
you know, which makes total sense. But if you're a freelancer, it's like, okay, well, now I got the next job. I can't even like.
Also, they're not going to pay for you to
Exactly.
stay over another night.
No,
That
you want to
is-
stay and enjoy this beautiful country.
Yeah, on
You're
your
here to
dime,
work.
you can do it.
Yeah.
Right. Right. No, yeah.
We're gonna
so
go have
it's-
this expensive dinner now. Like,
Right.
like,
That
cool.
can you come to this dinner too? It's like, oh, but we're shooting tomorrow. Like I
Yeah.
need to be like
I have to go transcode all the stuff we just
Literally.
shot. Like, I can't.
literally.
Yeah. Well, I guess I meant the dream was that like you get paid to at least travel to other parts of the world, right? Or even just other markets.
It's 100% true. You get to see the world on someone else's time.
Yeah, I mean, I always say I totally agree. Like I'm so fortunate because I kind of put it in the sense of like I'm still commuting to work. My commute is just an airplane, which is crazy. And it's like I do get to see like I think you can fall on a negative side of this of like, oh, I don't get like it's just Uber to hotel and then hotel to set and it's like I'm just seeing the world like through the Uber. It's like I guess, but like at least your commute is like an airplane or it's through New York City or it's like there's still so much that you can enjoy that I wouldn't trade it for the world. Like I love that I'm shooting in Spain or I'm shooting in LA or shooting like it really is like super super cool.
I always see it like I've got to go so many different places and I'm always like it's not going to be the most accurate way of seeing it, but it gives me like a taste of like what that like I got to go to Indonesia like on someone else's dime. Was it like how I would do it? No.
Totally.
Not at all. But like now I'm like I want to go back there.
Totally.
On my own
on your own dime.
on my own dime just
Yeah.
to like experience it and have fun because like I now know kind of what it's like, you know.
Totally. No, I completely
So,
agree.
gives you like a good taste of like different regions of the world and it lets you go places that you would definitely never
Think
have
about-
thought to
Oh,
go
for sure.
or like get access to places that you're like I can't even believe I'm fucking here.
No,
this is insane.
my next job is I'm going to Slovenia. I think that's how you say it. Slovenia. And I didn't even know where that was on the map. You know, so like I need to like do some Google research of like how to say my basic things because I don't even I know nothing about it. But to your point, I'm like I'm sure when I'm there, I'm like how in the world did a camera bring me here?
Yeah.
Like that's always the thought that I have is like, wow, like a camera has brought me to this place. Like it's insane.
But you also had an approach to doing that because like now you know you were leaving Daily Harvest, you're getting work for Michael Phelps. I imagine that after that you were changing the content that you were posting on your Instagram, right? Because you're still using your Instagram to get work here, right? Your Instagram's
Totally.
your resume. So how did that game plan now where you're like, okay, I want to pursue this work of like working with athletes? How did that influence the stuff that you were posting afterward?
Yeah, that's a great question. I would say it even goes back to pre that. Like when I was at AKA and at ClassPass and Daily Harvest, I never posted any work from those companies. Like I never posted anything about ClassPass. I never even like said I worked for these places. Like I feel like a lot of people in the Instagram bios, if you will, they'll be like, well, I guess if you work for Nike, it's pretty cool to like claim that you work for Nike. But like a lot of people put, especially back then, like where you work and they'd be like senior videographer for whatever. Because I wanted to do freelance, I never did that. I always wanted to like frame it as though I was freelance. And so even when I was in-house, I would get a few like inquiries here and there for freelance, but it was so tough to take because then I'm like calling into ClassPass to be like, oh, I'm sick today, or like, you know, trying to like balance the two, which hardly ever was successful.
Yeah, that's tough.
So do you tell your freelance kind of like I'm booked, or do you tell them I have a full-time job?
Well, I still learning how to navigate. This was still like a young version of me. I didn't tell them I was booked, and I also didn't tell them I had a full-time job. I don't remember. It was like some sort of mixture in the middle. Honestly, It was like, oh, I can see if I can do it. Honestly, I think I'm such a nerd. I probably was like, I have a doctor's appointment, but maybe I can like move it. Like I would tell the producer this. Like, why would they care about it? I didn't know at that
I mean,
time.
that's a pretty valid one. It's like if you ever tried to schedule an appointment, like it's tough. So it's
I
hard. It's
guess.
an important thing you don't want to move, right?
I
I feel like
guess.
my default is like I'm booked. Like
Yeah.
even when I take vacation, I just treat vacation like a job. So it's like I'll like block it out on my calendar, and then people are like, I need you this week, and I'm like, sorry, I'm booked.
Yeah, I have now learned this, but I would say like 8 years ago, I was like, I got to make it work. And I would try to drag it along as I could while I was talking to my employer of like, hey, whether depending how many weeks or days in advance it was, I would either see if I could, because this was also pre-remote work, right? Like I had to be in that office. So I would try to see, like, could I tell them I have a doctor's appointment? Can I fake sick? Or can I use a PTO? Like, it had to be one of them, which always frustrated me. Like, I know it's unrealistic, but it would be a dream world if I could work in-house at a company and also do freelance on the side. But I realized that, like, well, we're hiring you for your full time. So, like, you need to, like, give us the 40 hours.
You can be contracted by a company.
That's true.
And just have a 12-month contract with the company, and then you can do whatever else you want to do on the side.
Yeah, like a retainer client type situation.
Basically.
Yeah.
But those are not always on the table, and those are hard to negotiate.
It's definitely hard. It's like really the hardest.
Yeah.
They're just gonna be like, "We'll just hire someone else. This guy wants a weird contract."
But like, especially back then, though. Like, I think now people are more open to that. But I think back then it was like it's full time and you're at this office. Like, I remember even when I tried to take on editing freelance jobs back then, they would like require me to be like, like if you were editing for the mill, you have to be at the mill. For what reason? Like, in hindsight, I look back, I'm like, just send them a hard drive. Like, it makes no sense. But yeah, that is one thing with COVID I'm super grateful for. But to your question of like the posting, so when I was working at these places, I would post still like my own passion projects, which at that time I had this series where I would like go to a different neighborhood every weekend and like film bits and bobs, like try to capture the essence of that neighborhood. So like I would go to Brooklyn, I would go to like different neighborhoods within Brooklyn, I'd go to like Chinatown, and I would like make these like 60-second clips and post stuff like that. Then once I've always like leaned on stuff like that. So then when and I would start getting freelance inquiries that I unfortunately couldn't take from stuff like that. So when I decided to go full-time freelance, I still didn't really know that I wanted to do sports. That, like I said, it came a little bit later, but I was like, okay, let's go back to my roots. Let's like do another series. I've always done like some form of series to like keep me, I'm such a routine structured person. So if I committed like, okay, I'm going to post one day a week under this like title of neighborhoods, or under this title of like, this one that I did was called Slices. And so every Sunday I would post 7 frames. And at first it was just like, the idea was like, I'm just going to film one thing a day. So whether that's like making eggs, or if it was like putting on my shoes to go for a run, like it was just something mundane. And eventually when I started realizing I wanted to do sports, I started getting more like strategic with those slices, still being like not super branded. Like I think some people go a spec route and they're like, let's make the Nike commercial, like get all the Nike stuff, which I have opinions as to why I don't think that works all the time. But I would make those slices and started injecting some form of like fitness, whether it was like the health and wellness side of it, of like nutrition and hydration and what have you, or if it was like more true fitness of like going for a run, riding a bike, something of that sort. And those slices then started like different fitness brands started like noticing that and started like hiring me for that type of work.
So you went more,
which sounds
like,
so simple. That sounds like such a like I posted it and then and then they hit me up, but
happened in a week.
Yeah.
But also,
You can do it too.
Yeah. Post today.
You went the aesthetic route. You went for like, and these are like lifestyle pieces essentially that you were making when it comes to the slices. So you went the aesthetic route, like how you would film these things, and then you started incorporating the fitness stuff, which is a really cool strategic way to go about it.
Yeah, I think you're oversimplifying it, because I remember seeing these and they were very stylized slices of life.
Yeah.
And when you're saying frames, you're talking like basically like a moving portrait.
Yeah.
It wasn't just like a picture.
Stills,
it wasn't a
yeah.
still. Because I see a lot of content up there and it's a still. And my problem, and I have this problem too, when I post shit, I post a still and I'm like, that doesn't really explain the context because we're doing motion.
Yeah.
And it's way easier to make a still look cool than it is to make a moving frame look cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, your slices were like these 7 moving frames. They all sort of had this like look. Are you developing? Is it all natural light? Are you like lighting these things or?
Yeah, I mean, it is all natural light, and it was like with my camera that I owned, and I think there's, man, this is like something that's coming to me now, but it's like back to like the whole spec thing. I understand why and the value in investing into like, let's put $5,000 or $10,000 into the spec piece, and I think that's definitely a great approach. However, for me, I think a lot of these brands are moving towards, even with like their elite top athletes, they want to do something small and nimble, not because they don't have the budget, because the budget is there, but it's more so of just like it's going to create a better product in the sense that like their athlete is going to have their like high ticket, big budgeted commercial that will be on TV, but then all the social stuff, they would get a better, more vulnerable side of their top elite athlete if it was just one person who's able to like do it all. And I know that it's like, it's frustrating in one part because it's like, man, if we had a sound person, if we had a lighting, we had like, everything would be so much better. But I think also having like one skilled person with a Michael Phelps or a LeBron James or like with these top people, it almost disarms these athletes of like, okay, I can be myself and I can be a bit more natural. And so when I would do these slices, I almost had that in mind of like, man, I would love to like go follow LeBron for 72 hours and it just be him and I. And so intentionally like filming these frames in a way of like, if a client were to reach out to me, it's like, how did you achieve this? What do you need? Like, it was just me and myself and the environment in front of me. Like, I think that if I, as humbly as I can say it, but it just shows that like I can create a frame no matter what environment we're in. And I don't need the lighting. I don't need the sound. I don't need all these things. Like, we can make something super mundane look interesting and keep the focus on the story and the subject that we're trying to tell, but still have it feel elevated and still feel like it's a high production thing if we're intentional with how we're capturing this. That an intentional doesn't always mean a $50,000 budget. You know what I mean?
Well, it's kind of interesting because you're saying instead of trying to like make these something that looks like $1 million commercial, because like, yeah, they can just make a LeBron $1 million commercial like that, you know?
Yeah.
What can I do within this budget that just feels more authentic to the budget, essentially? Like show it feeling more, not like necessarily like low budget, but just lo-fi, like more like real.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, something like I constantly say with my clients is like, I want this to feel like a home video, but the person behind the camera isn't like mom or dad with like the handy cam, but it's like someone who has an eye for the frame and has a knowing of like when to press record and when not to. So it's like this dance of like, yeah, making these lower budget authentic moments just feel slightly more elevated and still feel like, oh, this is coming from a brand and not like the little sister who just grabbed the camera and like ran. You know what I mean?
Yeah. There's definitely some nuance to it. Like it has to be in a world. It's funny though, because I can see eventually people grabbing your style and then being like, okay, so now we want to make a $2 million video that looks like it was only like a $3,000 video.
Yeah,
Totally.
which can totally be done. It just makes it takes away from that intimacy though. At that point, now everything is very structured. Everything's very timed and painted. You know,
I mean, you feel it when you work with like bigger talent or like bigger athletes or anything. They see when it's only like a crew of 5 or 6 people, it's way less pressure to them.
Mm-hmm.
Totally.
When it's like a crew of 50 and there's like agency and there's tons of like hair and makeup and like people shuffling them back and forth and they don't really get to interact with that whole crew.
Yeah.
It's like it sets a tone.
Yeah.
And that tone can't be broken.
Totally. When I think it's like, I don't think any of us are really like built for that to feel normal. But if there was a category, it would be like, actors and actresses, like your Brad Pitts, you know what I mean? Like these like Leonardo DiCaprio, like they're comfortable in front of that.
But that's like why they're such good actors or actresses, because it's not natural. It's so unnatural and they're able to make it feel natural.
Yeah.
That's the fucking talent.
Right. Which is, it's like, so then why are we forcing these elite athletes? Like for an elite athlete, stepping onto the court with thousands of people watching. That's their natural.
Yeah.
So now if we're trying to like make content for Nike or On or whatever the brand is, like, why are we pretending like they're going to just all of a sudden be an actor? Like,
because that's just what people think. They're like, oh, just put them in front of the camera and they'll just be good because they're good on the thing.
Right.
This is like exactly the whole fucking problem with like influencers too.
Yeah.
They hire an influencer who's really good at making content by themselves or like maybe with their significant other or something like that.
Yeah.
And then they're like, let's stick them in a crew of 30 and fucking like travel around and do this shit. And it's like, oh, it doesn't work as well. It's like, because this is not what they do.
Right. They're not a TV host. They're not.
Like you're grabbing content that they make by themselves or like it's real, like just, it seems so casual to them. And then you're trying to make it more complex.
Yeah.
That's not what they do.
There's other ways to elevate these things that are like, wow, that's like, there's a reason you're loving that influencer for whatever reason. That like, if you want to take that as a brand and elevate it, the answer isn't make it bigger. Like it's not, the answer isn't like throw money to it and make it bigger and like now have all these, like that's not the answer. It's like, let's keep the authentic. Let's just like find a way to make this have a larger impact, which could be like, maybe we give you money so that you can go around to like, you can fly you and your partner to Indonesia. Like, what is it that we can help aid you and give you resources to like make the impact bigger, not necessarily make the production bigger.
Yeah. I feel like there is like there's still people in this world that don't understand that production has scales.
Yeah.
Like there's scales of production, right? And everyone's trying to, a lot of agencies, some of them might do this different, but a lot of agencies are like, well, this is the level. Like, this is the level that we have to be at.
Right.
So, like, every job is like, well, this is the level. There's a video village. There's this, there's this, there's this.
Yeah.
It's like, that's just not going to fly. Like,
Yeah.
Like, if, like, the influencer's there and they're like, they do their thing, and then there's like, all right, getting notes from client. They're like, what? You don't get notes from client? Like,
it's like,
yeah, no, completely.
It's like agencies like the scientists that like discover something in the wild and they like want to dissect it and then they kind of want to like manipulate it in a way to
because I don't think like influencers are terrible. Like I'm not into that world, but they're clearly getting their message across to whoever they're talking to.
They have their audience,
Sure.
yeah.
So it's like now what you're trying to do is stick them in this weird situation and then make them talk to an audience that's not theirs.
Yeah, it makes no sense.
It's the same thing with like sports stars. It's like you're taking them out of the court and you're putting them in a studio.
Right.
And they're like, where's the crowd? I feed off the crowd.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's no crowd. Like when they say something, it's just like a boom up. Like,
totally.
It's like, it's so unnatural.
No, it's so weird. It really is. Or they're like, where's the ball? Like they only know what they know.
Yeah.
That like to get the authentic story out of them is, I understand there's a time and place and there's a reason for the like highly stylized commercial. It's just not personally what I'm into, and it's not where I think the lightning in the bottle is. I think it's more so
definitely
in the
not where the
process.
lightning in the bottle is. Yeah. And it's definitely, it doesn't give like an authentic feel to that player either.
Yeah.
You know, like that, then you just get that thing where it's just like Shaq and he's just like,
I was gonna
general. Or, you know, like
I feel like the NBA ones, I see them and I'm like, it's so high budget. You can just tell. And I'm like, man, this just doesn't feel like, these are just so bad. They're just so bad. Like it just feels so,
stiff.
Yeah. It's like they don't want to be there. You can tell.
No, yeah, 100%. None of them want to be there. And like, and I don't know if it's really like them, because there is a whole nother layer to this of like, you know, their agents trying to get the most money. So they're like limiting the amount of time that they have with them. And like, I mean, I've been on commercials where we've had NBA stars for 15 minutes. You have to shoot a whole fucking commercial.
Yeah.
It's like,
but also that's another hot take. I feel like these stars will give the time what they want to give the time to.
Yeah.
Like the 15 minutes, they could clear their schedule if they wanted to clear it. So if like the idea and the concept felt more authentic to them and more natural to them, they would give you 3 days. Like they would like give whatever's needed for it to be what it needs to be. But because they're like, oh, okay, just another read where I got to read some lines and like say buy this, whatever, like you get 15 because I'm not going to be here for 2 days just rereading this in 5 different ways. Like they know what it is at this point.
Yeah, it's just a fucking ad.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and like, cause there are definitely like iconic sports commercials too for like Nike and like brands from like the '90s and early 2000s. So it always comes down to the idea, right?
Yeah.
Like if the idea is good, the athlete and you how you execute it too is like make them feel like they're in their natural environment. You'll get the stuff you need. So
Yeah.
it's just a different platform now and a different wave, like a new generation of filmmakers that are figuring out a way how to do it too.
Yeah.
Which is pretty dope. There was something you said earlier too about like how when you get to these places with these athletes, like you're saying, you don't need the lighting, you don't need like the big crew because you're trying to make something out of like the mundane. But I feel like working with athletes, the locations where athletes operate also kind of lends itself to that dynamic because
Totally.
it's not like you're working in a bland office.
Yeah. We're not in a conference room.
Where you do need lighting. You're like,
Totally.
you know, at the training grounds, or you're like maybe in their homes, or so I feel like that dynamic also has like a documentary kind of component to it
Absolutely.
as well. Do you like watch any documentaries, or do you pursue any kind of doc style when you do this as well?
Yeah, I mean, I love doc style. I think like my dream would be like to have a doc on Netflix within the sports world. Like that would be fantastic. I think I've watched a lot of like the Netflix ones of like Sprint or Breaking Point or like all the they're doing. I feel like when the Olympics just happened, like they really ramped up. Like let's do a bunch of like athlete driven docs. So that was really cool to see. And then I also am on like the YouTube doc world like crazy. Like I'm in the middle right now of directing a film for Salomon of a trail runner. And I didn't do you guys know anything about trail running? Because I knew nothing about trail running. I didn't even know it was a sport, to be honest.
I didn't know it was a
Just
sport.
the name
Trail running.
They run on
On
trails.
You
not
nailed
paved
it.
roads.
You nailed
That's
it.
pretty much all I got.
What's even crazy, like that sounds like crazy, but then what's even crazier is like they're running like in the mountains. Like this guy that I'm filming right now, he was training to compete at UTMB, which is like the New York Marathon of the trail running world. And it's like, I don't want to lie, or I don't want to like say something that's wrong, but it's the elevation is like insane. Like they're truly climbing like peaks of, not even climbing, they're running at like a 10-minute pace per mile up these mountains and like running 100 miles for like one race.
Oh wow! So it's like more than a marathon.
It's 4 marathons.
And elevation, so
And
you have
elevation.
to train your breathing to change when you get up there.
Are these like
And
Iron Man
it's-
thing, or are these just like
They're just running. Yeah, just running. And it's like super, like imagine, I don't know about you guys, but like even hiking, when I go on a hike, I'm like, you know, I might step on the log the wrong way and like twist my ankle.
Yeah.
Now imagine like running and like, I mean, it's been really fascinating to watch. Like there's so many docs on YouTube of like a lot of the great trail runners. And that's been super fascinating to watch. So yeah, I'm super into watching. If anything, I'm watching more now like sports docs than like proper films and movies. Yeah.
And is this like this doc that you're doing? This isn't really. It's a branded thing.
Yeah.
So that's like this weird world, right? Like Solomon's like paying for this thing. Mm-hmm. But is it about Salomon, or is he just wearing Salomon's shoes and it's really about the runner?
Yeah, I mean, I think Salomon really gets it because they, of course, like they want their brand to be in there, but there has been like none of my conversations with them has ever been back to like, but he needs to say the word Salomon. Like it's never, which I think
More
sometimes,
shoes.
Yeah.
Can he hold Solomon's while he runs?
Yeah, could he just maybe like as you're talking at the kitchen table, can he like bring the shoes up? It's like it's been all super organic, which I've been super grateful for because I know that's not always the case. I think brands don't always like understand that like he's wearing the clothes, like that's enough.
That's enough. Yeah.
You know, but yeah, they are paying. It's fully funded by them, and it is about the subject. His name is Christian Meyer, so it's about him and his journey into training for UTMB.
Feature length?
It's going to be 20 minutes long.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so it's like a
This
little
reminds
short.
me of like sort of the docs that Yeti does.
Yeah,
Like Yeti was really good about that. They would do like these docs about adventure or fishing or something like that. You didn't really talk about Yeti. And
Yeah.
You just have a Yeti cooler.
I think that,
like-
I mean, I don't know. Like, I don't know about you guys, but like, as I always try to look at it through the lens of like a consumer myself. And when something feels so overly like there's a time and place for it. Do the TVC that's like so like brand forward, brand driven. But these types of like longer form docs, it feels way more natural to just like put a little like brought to you by Yeti at the beginning,
Yeah.
and then like
Yeah.
let the story unfold.
Establish it. It's like paid for by them, and then just focus on the
Yeah,
story.
I think as a
now.
consumer, you
Yeah.
appreciate that way more. So you're like, oh, this is like, you maybe more subconsciously now have Yeti in the back of your mind when you go
Well,
to
I
the
mean,
store.
yeah, but it's like they're wearing like a Yeti hat. Or, like,
Exactly.
it's not over the top where like he pulls a fish out and then he goes, "Good thing I have my Yeti."
I mean, let's be real. They probably shot that, but they just didn't put it in the.
Totally.
That's funny.
But I think that's smart. So okay, so the end goal of this to make like this 20-minute film.
Mm-hmm.
Is it going to festivals? You said.
Yeah.
Then does this like live with them on? Do they have like a channel?
Yeah,
because it feels like a lot of brands nowadays like have their own channel.
Yeah, so they do have a YouTube channel. They call it Salomon TV. So yeah, the end result will be on YouTube, which, you know, when I first started, like when I discovered I liked making videos, I was like maybe 9 or 10 years old. I was really young. And I just like loved making videos of my dogs. And when I was like, okay, I want to make, this is what I'm going to do. I want to make this career. And at that age, it was very much like you're making a blockbuster film. Like you're doing the next Star Wars, you're doing the next Lord of the Rings. Like you got to go big or go home.
Mm-hmm.
But that never really resonated with me. And so it is pretty full circle for me for like, I'm super stoked that this is going to be on YouTube because I know like little kid version of me, if I had known that this would be an option, I would have seen the path way clearer. Thankfully, it didn't stop me. That like I didn't see a path. I was like, well, maybe hopefully like, but things turned into what they did with like Instagram being a thing and TikTok and Netflix and Hulu and HBO. Like, there's so many different ways than just the 6 films at the movie theater that I personally am super excited that it will be on YouTube. I think it's the perfect place to live, and yeah, I wouldn't want it to be in the movies, which maybe people like in the traditional film world would be like, dang, but if it could just be longer and then like,
Yeah.
but no, I'm stoked that it'll be on YouTube.
Yeah, and it's cool. It'll have like a little festival run, and maybe
Yeah,
you'll get to go.
the festival run sounded. That was a surprise to me. The production company told me that would happen, so I've never done anything festival anything. So
Oh, never
Yeah.
been to a film festival?
I've never even been to a film festival
Oh, you might go to one.
Yeah, by accident.
by accident. But I'm excited to like have the experience. It should be cool.
It's fun to like watch something that you've made at a film festival and get that like live reaction.
Oh, I don't know. I think I'm gonna be terrified.
No, it's like
I don't know if I'm.
It is pretty scary.
just pop a
'cause
poppy
it's
and
like,
fucking
Sponsor us. There's your second sponsor.
yeah, just nonstop.
I get
Yeah.
that though. It'd be kind of intimidating, I guess, to have a bunch of people watching your work all in one room. But I mean, if you think about it, there's a ton of strangers watching your work all the time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it seems to be
Moment.
that's how you get jobs. Is like you put your stuff out on Instagram.
Yeah, but there's
People watch your work and then they DM you and go, "Yo,
But it's just way easier to pretend like no onene's watching than to like physically see people watching is a little. I don't know.
well, it's not like
I
you're
see.
staring at them when they're
Yeah, you
watching."
have to. Yeah, you're not in front. They're not watching you.
You're just like,
That sounds like a
funny.
nightmare.
I know.
that's torture.
Are you liking it?
You're just the screen, and the screen's right above your head, and you have to stare at everybody.
Everybody watching.
Yeah. You have to do live commentary while you're
Oh my
screening
God.
the film too.
No.
Oh my God.
I guess like the biggest thing too for me is like, it seems like we're just gonna get right into it. It seems like you never decided you were a director.
No.
It seems like the clients that hired you decided you were a director.
I know, which sounds so freaking fortunate. Like, what a.
No, they saw it. They saw it in you. They saw that they need you to achieve the project.
Yeah.
They can't just sub you out with another DP. That's what they saw.
Yeah. Like, I think I've been fortunate enough to have a few clients hold my hand a little bit and be like, because I'm like so pro, like, be transparent and honest in the sense where, like, if I don't feel like I'm capable, I mean, back to like Jamal hitting me up and being like, hey, we want to have you. And I'm like, actually, can I be an intern? Like, that's truly me, like, at my core. And so there's been projects where I've been hit up and they're like, hey, we want you to direct. And I'm like, are you sure? Like, I know maybe that's not the right thing to do, but I would rather be fully transparent and honest that, like, I don't really feel like I would be a good fit for this and what have you. But I've had some clients tell me like, no, like what you've done with your slices, there's clear intention and there's clear direction and thought and vision that you've executed on. Sure, you were the one DPing it because I had no one else. I had to I had to be the subject. I had to be the DP. I had to be it all. But the concept at its core of whatever the work they saw like came from you. And so I'm super like, I've been super lucky to have people like speak life to me in that way. But it definitely has never been something that I tried to attack and be. Like I never was like, I'm going to be a director, so now let me like go for it.
What was the first project where you basically just got shoved into that role where it's like, now you're not the DP?
Yeah. It was actually earlier this year was my first one ever, and it was for a brand called Headspace Coffee. It's like a coffee that has mushrooms in it, or like adaptogens. I think that's what it's called.
Like mushrooms.
Like, adaptogens.
Is that I don't
like psilocybin or
I don't know, guys. I guess
psychedelic coffee is what we're talking about.
Or just like reg mushrooms that do some
regular mushrooms. Because you can.
I was like, what is this coffee? I want some.
No, like you can buy it over the counter.
Oh, okay.
Like yeah, all like right. they sell it at like Citarella.
Totally legal.
Okay. All right, never mind.
But yeah, this guy hit me up from a agency. They were like rebranding it, and they needed like a TVC type for the rebrand. And he hit me up and he like shared some references from AG1, and he was like, "Hey, I think we've got this idea coming up. We'd love for you to direct," and share the references. And the references, like, oftentimes when a project feels right, like I just can creatively see myself in it almost right away. And the references looked like something I would have shot. Like it was like definitely very much in my lane and in my style. And so when that first came to me, I almost did feel like I think I can direct this. Like this does like really line up. And I hit up a friend that I actually met during the AKA days. His name is Jesse Bronstein. He's a DP. Do you guys know Jesse?
Mm-mm.
No,
I don't think so. No.
So he's a DP based here in New York. So talented, like super, super, super talented. And I hadn't worked with him since the AKA days, but for whatever reason, I follow him on Instagram and like keep up with him, and he just immediately popped in just because of his style. I thought matched really well with what we were trying to achieve, and it was great. I mean, like after that shoot was the first time that someone like I got that question that you asked me earlier of like, does it feel weird not having the camera? And maybe it's because I just had such a great experience with Jesse being so talented and so collaborative that I fully trusted him, which gave me so much space to be able to focus on everything else that I wasn't even worried about the frame. But the one weird thing, if there was anything, when I was walking like to shoot that day, I was like, it's weird that I don't like have my Pelican with me. Like it's weird that I don't like have any, like I felt naked. Like I'm like walking up to set with like,
what am I
nothing.
Doing here?
Yeah,
I
like
have
am
nothing to bring.
Like I'm like, what do I do with my hands? Like am I working today?
Two
like,
coffees now?
Like that was probably the weirdest part of it all. That felt like I felt like an imposter. Like I'm not actually going to work because I don't have a camera.
Yeah, because I mean, the level that you're telling me where you're involved in pre-pro and all these other things, is like there's not many times the DP is involved in that. Most of the time, it's like the director is doing all of these things, and then the DP is brought in maybe to one of those meetings.
Sure.
And it's like, here's our storyboards, here's our this. What do we need technically to get these to achieve this stuff?
Right.
It's not like they're developing that usually. That's all the director. So
Yeah. And I think I didn't realize.
it's like you were always doing it. And
That's the thing. Yeah, I don't think I realized that I was actually directing when I was like helping pick a location and helping find references and helping like create the storyboards. Like I didn't realize that is not typically what a DP does until I started. Like now that I've been doing more director jobs and speaking with DPs, like the DPs will now send me like a whole like lighting reference, like a whole like diagram of like how they plan. And I never did any diagrams, I'll tell you that. But I like went crazy on on like everything else that a typical director would do. So now that I've been doing this more and more, it just does feel more like, okay, I am walking down the right lane because this is what I've always been doing. It's just now being a bit more separated, like church and state, of like, okay, now the DP can worry about all that kind of stuff and he can send me like visual references, and I can just focus more on like the general vision reference. Like it feels a bit more clear to me now, whereas before I felt like I was really like doing a little bit of both.
When you were doing that pre-pro work, when you were doing the director DP role, what were you, if anything, if you did have to provide anything, what were you giving to like the agency or the brand in terms of like references? Like what were you sending them like any kind of pre-pro book or anything that was like showing how you were going to execute this stuff?
Yes and no. I mean, a lot of them, we kind of talked about this, which is crazy, is like a lot of them didn't require anything of me because they were just like, we saw your Instagram and like, good to
Just
go.
show up.
Just, yeah,
It's
like,
fucking wild.
That's crazy.
so like now I'm now doing more, so it would more so be pre-pro work for me, like for like myself to feel good about it. But now that I am directing more, now what I typically would have done for myself is like properly like in a deck with like, here's the story beats we're gonna hit, and here's the shot list, and here's the scenes I'm imagining. Like now that is more client facing. But when I was just DPing, it was just like for myself to feel like I'm just such a like detail oriented person that I would feel crazy if I didn't do that.
Yeah.
So when, even though a client never asked for it, I still was like, well, I need it for myself just to feel like I have my head wrapped around like what I'm trying to capture.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. And like now that you're working with other DPs like Jesse, you know, what do you ask of them? Like I know he gave you a lighting diagram and like something you never made for your clients, but like what do you ask from him as a DP to like provide, or do you ask them anything?
Yeah, I mean, I'm still learning that because I guess I don't really know like what they should do and what I should do because it's always been so blended. But for Jesse and even on this project I'm in the middle of right now, I'm working with a DP named Severin. And I've really enjoyed the collaborative process. So like I have shared storyboards with him and I'm like, how do you feel about this general framing? Do you feel like we're missing anything? Do you feel like we should include some like frames in the middle? Like I really want to get their POV on from a like visual standpoint. Is this being communicated as best as we possibly can, or should we pivot some things around? And then beyond that, like Jesse was so collaborative. I had some ideas of how we could transition from one flavor of the drink to the other flavor, and he was like, well, what if we actually like rigged the camera to the can, and like he was drinking it, and then he came up with a whole other idea that visually just like got us there faster. And I was like, yeah, that's brilliant, like let's do that. So I don't really have a separation of like, you can only talk to me about this. Like if there's something that we should like change in the scripts because it would just make more sense and be like a better overall product, I'm like super game for it. And I've been fortunate that so far the DPs that I've worked with are also in that mindset. Like they're also just like, I was actually thinking maybe we could do this. And I'm like, yeah, for sure. Thank you for bringing that up. Like maybe that's not in your lane technically, but it's a great idea, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, you also want that, right, from your DP to like kind of push you in a different kind of direction. Like, you know, when you're taking that role, like to challenge you a little bit too, to make you rethink the framing or rethink how you're telling the story visually too, because they come from a whole different experience. So that's always fun, I think, too, is kind of you learn something about yourself in the process.
Totally.
And you kind of maybe even learn something new. So that makes the overall kind of project feel like a whole different experience altogether.
Yeah, absolutely.
That can be tough though. I could see that being like a little like kind of telling me how to do what I've been doing.
Yeah.
Well, it's also like, you know, like in that situation, I'm sure it worked out, but like they're talking about rigging cameras to cans and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like, do you know how to do that? Do you know what's involved in that? So,
not at all.
So like you saying yes to that now just makes this like complicated, you know, probably 30-hour long setup for this one shot. And it's like fully committing to this idea now. You know?
Yeah. And I think like having the background that I do, to your point, if you were to tell me rig the camera to the can, wouldn't know how to do it. But I do know, I do have enough experience to know that like, okay, we're likely going to need time for that. So it's helped me, at least on the director side of things, of being able to ask specific questions of my DP of like, okay, our shoot day is looking like this. If we were to present that today to client that you want to do that, is that feasible within the setup that we currently have? And so before I even like pitch it to them, I make sure that like, one, this is worth the fight of like doing, but two, that it's something that we can do with the resources that we have allocated to the project. And if that's the case, then I feel pretty confident then going to the client of like, look, we need to do this for X, Y, and Z reasons. Whereas I feel like sometimes I've worked with directors that like maybe they haven't touched other elements of production, that they're just like making calls that they have no idea how that trickles down. You know, like they have no idea of like, oh, well, now this, to your point, now this means our whole day is focused on this one shot. So now we can't get these, like, it's just.
Well, it's better be right. It
Yeah.
better work.
Yeah.
It's better be important because it's like you're going to spend a fifth of your day
Totally
rigging, shooting, and de-rigging this one shot.
So. Or are you just doing it because it looks cool? It's like, to your point, it needs to have some sort of intentionality that I'm grateful that I've had the other experience to be able to like make those decisions a bit more clearly.
And are you involved? Like, so these agencies or brands are reaching directly out to you. Are they kind of handling the budget? They're just hiring you and they're handling the budget, or are you sort of involved in that whole process as well?
I'm not involved in the budget. Yeah, they handle everything. I guess I don't like. What is there a world in which somebody comes?
Well, I wasn't sure if you had a producer that you worked with, and you were like, "Oh, well, you hiring me hires this person, and they're my like person that sort of oversees and manages." This stuff.
I don't have that, but it's something I've like. People have kind of like told me that perhaps that would be a good move to do.
Yeah, because then it's just like it kind of, in my mind, that would make your productions feel more uniform.
Yeah, like I know what to expect, and like my producer knows what my
like your producer's like, well, she's gonna want to hire one of these types of DPs.
Totally,
they need this amount of crew. She also is gonna need a prep day of this of that. So it's like by hiring you, they're hiring this person, and this person is like the logistics person of like, this is what you can expect.
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense. I think I'm still like a baby in the space, but I do feel like that sounds really nice.
Because I think a lot of times like people like these agency people or client people, they'll hire someone like you, and they just assume, well, it's all I got you.
Just one person.
Yeah, I got you. Cool.
Yeah.
She's good. She's got it.
Yeah.
And then you don't realize that they're like, oh, they need things to do their thing.
And I mean, I've got producers on all of these jobs, but to your point, it's been like learning a new language every time and like re-explaining like, okay, well, there is like a whole intro package, if you will, of like to a new producer. Of like,
it's like your LUT package, but for the producer.
Here's the intro package.
Just download it.
$99.99. Here's a brain dump of my intro so that you can know what I need and you tell me what you need and we'll find. But yeah, I think having a producer that I work with continuously on all things would be fantastic. So definitely something I have in mind.
Were you also told like you had to operate within a certain budget for these things, or was it like you got a rate to do? Like specifically for the stuff when you were doing, I guess, like after Daily Harvest and you're getting hired as director DP, like were they like, hey, we want you to do this thing, we want you to shoot and direct this, like here's our budget, or would they reach out to you and say how much to do this stuff?
It's been a little bit of both. For the Headspace thing, it definitely was I was able to like get another 10 to 15K out of him just because I was like, look, we can do, if we did this, we would do that. And, able to like fight for more. But then in other scenarios, I know nothing about the budget, but I just say like, we need this, this, that. And oftentimes they're like, yeah, sure, no problem. Which I recognize sounds so super luxurious.
That's amazing.
But the Nike one I just did with the WNBA for All-Star Weekend, it was crazy. Like to your point of like agencies having like, this is our standard. This was just like an activation that we were shooting for Nike and JD Sports. And we had a whole video village. We had monitors. We had Davey was our on-site editor. Like we had the whole shebang that I think typically you see like activation content is just like a solo videographer who like shoots some things.
That's how I would think of it.
Yeah, no,
it's like a team of 4.
No, yeah, it was like a whole production just for like some quick turnaround social assets, which for that I was like, I need an AC. Like I was like, what are our expectations here? Like, are we trying to like, what are we trying to do? Are we trying to just have this be a solo videographer type of thing? Or like, because you're bringing me in to direct solely. So like, what am I working with here? And he was like, whatever you want it to be. So I just kept going and going, and he just never told me to stop. Like the producer never told me to stop. So we just kept going until like
Just
what
keep
felt
asking.
right.
You're like, helicopter.
Yeah. Jet ski.
They're like, man, we're inside.
Stunt double. Just like drop everything possible. But yeah, I realized that like not every shoot is like that, you know, but it's definitely like a reading the room situation of like, okay, are we tight on this, or like do we have
It's
room
interesting
to
too, because like, you know, like you're saying, like brand activation, it is like how you're seeing it, because like they could be like brand activation to us is just two people. It's like a photographer and a videographer, and that's it. It's just like those sports things where it's just media day, you know, they just capture a bunch of shit. That's essentially what it is, right?
Yeah.
Or it could be mini commercials.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's definitely, it's like how you see it and how, like what's your like flavor that you're putting on top of it. Because I think, they probably would have been happy also if we just went with a videographer and a photographer route and just called it a day. But they were also happy to go like, let's elevate this and make this feel a little bit more like a story.
So in a situation like that, you know, you're saying you're shooting and you're turning out stuff. It's like you're turning out stuff in like 24 hours, 48 hours.
Or less. Or like 5 hours.
Everything just went straight to plan there. There's no hiccups at all. It was all just absolutely perfect.
Okay, that's...
There's absolutely no way if you're trying to turn something that fast.
Okay, this is bringing me back. So for the Nike thing, you know what's funny is like before this, I've done a handful of activations that are outdoor activations, and it's never rained. Like rain has never been an issue.
That's
And
lucky.
someone asked me that one time. They're like, "What do you do if it rains?" I was like, "I guess it's never happened." But for this Nike one, it did indeed rain, or so they said it was going to rain. And so because it was going to rain, they were building the activation still, like the agency that was in charge of building it. And it ended up not raining, but because they were planning for the rain, long story short, the activation was not ready day one. And we were hired for 2 days of shooting. So all of our concepts for day one basically were like, we had to pivot and figure out what we were going to do because we don't have an activation to shoot at. And so our options, I started like pitching a handful of different options. The one I like really wanted ended up not getting chosen, which was like going to a basketball court. They were going to go practice inside at this high school. I was like, we could do it at that high school, do it in the locker room. Like it'd feel very authentic to like everything of what we're trying to achieve here. But of course, they chose a conference room at a hotel room.
Oh God!
And so
The least athletic background.
literally, I mean, to your point earlier of like, oh, you're working in these cool spots. You're not in a conference room in a hotel room. No, so they chose that. So we had to, that was tough. I mean, and the team made it work. We like basically, we got like a Muslim backdrop and like went for like, I'm sure you've seen like the school photo or like
Nice.
like a Kobe,
school
you're like
portrait.
Kobe, like Kobe with the trophy, but he's like on the back, like a cool back. So we like leaned into that, but it just wasn't like the activation. Also ended up being so sick. We got to shoot it on the next day, but it was a huge bummer we couldn't do it day one. But yeah, it was just a bunch of like.
So wait, but like you're talking about pivoting. Like you're pivoting the night before.
Yeah, I mean, I got the text at like 11 o'clock at night. That
For the next day.
That activation
We
wouldn't
need
be
to-
ready.
Yes. And so then I was in the pitch deck. We had like a deck that client had and that the production company had. And I was just in there throwing it, like basically revising the concepts completely.
At midnight.
That we then had to be up the next day, like call time was like 7 a.m. And they were happy. They ended up loving it. It wasn't like obviously not my first choice.
No, but I mean the fact that you can make something out of basically they're like, hey, here's the worst thing we could give you, a conference room.
Yeah.
With a big table.
Literally. No, yeah. It was,
Let's start with the worst thing and go up from there.
I know. It was super, super challenging. But yeah, I think sometimes it's not a matter. I think sometimes we can get caught up in like, what's going to be dope for the portfolio? Like, what's going to look so sick? And we were able to like push past that. I'm like, let's just think of like, what's the concept at its core and how can we just make it look as best as possible? And they were super happy and all the like, it was a bunch of like high school teams that Nike like is affiliated with. And the whole core of the concept was basically like making these high school girls like feel very seen and feel yeah, just like have their moment to shine, like at WNBA All-Star Weekend. So they had a great time, and like the client got a lot of feedback from the coaches of the teams that like they felt like pros, like they felt like they were in their own media day, like suite for the day.
But
so
think of like also the fact that they didn't notice. I think that is a true testament, right? Like those kids came in, it could have been absolute fucking chaos.
Absolutely.
The fact that you're basically revamping your plan 7 hours before you're about to do the plan.
Yeah.
Could have been absolute chaos.
No, absolutely.
So in that scenario, do you just completely abandon it and try something else? Or are you like trying to grab what you had planned and fit it into the new thing that you have now?
Yeah, and I'm also curious, like, because there's politics involved in these conversations too, right? Because you want to make them, like, they're panicking.
Yeah.
So you got to put a fire out, but you want to make them feel good about their idea, but you're also probably fighting for some of the creative that you want, right? So how do you, like, what are you fighting for in those situations too?
Yeah, I mean, it's completely right. There is politics involved of like, they have things that need to be hit, right? Like they need to make sure that like we still get like, it was very lifestyle focused fits that Nike wanted to show off. They didn't want to show like on court stuff. And so it was finding a way to do that in a cool way, but with the resources that are allocated to us. So it's definitely a lot of like managing clients' expectations and trying to push them gently into like, trust me, this is going to be cool. Like we've got this as the backdrop, and you're pulling up the Kobe reference. You're like, look at like Kobe did it. Like this feels authentic to basketball. Like really trying to like tie in important references to help sell the vision of like, this is going to be just as cool, if not like it's a happy surprise. Like you try to like play it off as a positive, like this is a silver lining. And I think something that like I've been told a handful of times is like my memory bank of references is just insane. Like,
yeah, I agree.
So,
because I was just thinking about this. I'm like, I remember working with you at AKA. Like, I would come in and you'd be like, yeah, it's going to be like this. And have you ever seen this Vimeo video and this thing? And I'd be like,
it's true.
What? So, how do you watch all this shit?
Yeah, so this is so like David Goggins of me, but like I'm just such an intense person, I'll admit it, that like I would spend an hour every morning when I was at AKA just like watching Vimeo videos, liking them to make sure that like it would pull, like even if I didn't like it, I just liked it to make sure that it saved. And then I would like categorize it. So I had like one for GFX, one for lifestyle, one for fitness, one for health. Like I would categorize them all so that if anything ever like popped up, I could easily come back to like my memory bank of liked Vimeo videos and pull it up. But I also just like, I don't know how, but I just remember them all like so vividly. But I think if there's anything I've learned in clients and like managing clients, especially when it's like a big 180 pivot, they need to see it to believe it. Like you can't just like, it doesn't matter how good of a talker you are. Like if you're like, oh, it's going to be like Kobe. And they're like, what do you mean like Kobe? Like, what does that mean?
Yeah.
But if I'm telling them that like with an image next to them, they're like, okay, yes, like I get where this is coming. So like, I think references is just, it truly is like such an easy way to like communicate something so clearly that if you're pulling the right references, it's an easier yes than trying to just like, I don't know, even I think storyboards, like drafting up a storyboard can be difficult to get a yes because they're so like, oh, I don't know. But sometimes it's like when they even see the reference, they're like, oh, well, they did it. So like, let's do that, but for us and just like tweak it a little bit. You know, like they're a little bit more keen to it than not seeing anything at all.
And are you still pulling references from Vimeo, or what's your new like source?
I still do definitely pull from Vimeo, and then Instagram as well. I think Instagram with like this saved feature thing that they have now has been my new similar approach that like any sort of video that I see, even if it's, because I think also showing references of like it's not going to be this is also helpful. So I any video I see, I'll put it into this like I don't know what they're called, but I like save it and put it into this little folder on Instagram.
Collections, I think they're called.
Yes. Instagram sponsor
us.
Yeah, I have a handful of collections that I'll put stuff into.
So is this just you? Like, do you have like? I guess this is something I don't know how to do. Like, do you just search by a thing, or are you just like straight up just
Is your
diving down a
algorithm just
rabbit hole?
perfect? Like your
how does that
algorithm
work?
is nothing but
How are you
sports
just
ads.
finding like these references like nonstop? Like honestly, when I get on there, I'm just like it'll show me like 2 things that are relevant to me, and then it's like ad.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think I'm like an FBI investigator to a degree because I try to follow the people that like if I see something posted by on and I go through and I'm like, who was I look at who was on these projects and then I'll like try to follow those people if I feel like they'll come up. So like I have slowly curated my algorithm by following these specific people and by looking for these specific things to like send me the right things. But I Instagram is hard to like search for things. I don't actually search for things on Instagram, but Vimeo is a lot easier to like I'll put in like a brand or I'll put in an activity, I'll put in something and find it. Or now, which I mean, these guys really should sponsor you, is Frameset. You guys have heard of Frameset?
No.
You never heard of Frameset? Whoa. Okay, well, Frameset has made reference searching like way easier. You literally can just like put in like 2 people, like morning 5 a.m. Like you can put in everything and it'll pull up a bunch of different references. And oftentimes those references are linked to the Vimeo video. So then I'll go to that person's Vimeo. Then if I like that reference, I'll watch other pieces of their work. Like I just go down a rabbit hole.
Yeah,
like,
you're just deep.
That's cool. So I'm guessing the frames are probably there's some metadata or like just they're tagged with certain words. And so whenever you pull those up, they come up and then they lead down a path, basically.
Yeah. Frameset is clutch. I think Frameset has like taken my like DIY way of like finding references for the first 10 years of my career and like made it so easy to like literally just to your point, they probably tag them and you can just put like basketball court close up shot. It even has like shot type. I mean, there's so many. Have you heard of Shot Deck?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's like Shot Deck, but like wide. It's not just films. It's like commercials, social pieces. It's like almost everything
It's
you could
like
imagine.
Every visual thing that you could pull from.
Yeah.
That's interesting too, because I mean, sometimes I'll pull things from Shot Deck, but it's for a commercial. And you're like, it's gonna be like this,
Like
except
this movie.
we only have 10 grand.
That's hilarious.
It's gonna be Michael Bay, but $10.
Yeah,
But Mike Farino.
budget Michael Bay.
That's funny. Yeah, you should check out Frameset. I think you'd love it. And they also have like a collection feature too, where you can like put things based on a project or based on a category.
Okay, cool. Yeah, because I'm wondering, like, I agree with you. I think when you have to pivot to that extreme, you need like receipts. You need something that's going to be like, I know we didn't talk about this, but you got to go with me, and this is why. Like I know the ship's going the wrong direction.
Yeah.
Here's why.
Yeah, and sometimes it is a full 180 pivot. Like the original concept isn't even like involved anymore, but I try to incorporate the original concept to some degree so that it feels like they're still getting what they originally wanted, but now we're getting it. Again, I try to frame it in a very positive way of like, this actually might be better, even though maybe it's not. But I think you have to like sell them on that, because the more, if like, really a lot of this stuff also comes down to like, if everyone is on board and supports it, you're going to have a better product at the end of it than if you have like just 2 people supporting it. Like that energy, as woo woo wah wah that sounds, it's like the energy does affect like
the end result.
Yeah, it's like everyone's mental state needs to be so like, let's make this work. So like in that scenario, like Home Depot we're in Indiana. Indiana is like not a production place. It's like a production desert, if anything. So like finding a muslin was incredibly difficult. Like finding any sort of finding C-stands, like finding these things, we weren't planning for that at all.
Should have called me. I know people in Indiana.
I should have hit up the
Indiana boys. I literally know people.
That's hilarious. But yeah, like that was difficult. But because everyone was on board, like we had some PAs run to Home Depot. I mean, they went to like a Joann's. Like, you get scrappy.
Joann's.
Yeah, you get scrappy and you make it work.
Some fabric.
Yeah.
So they just ran to like a Midwest mall.
Literally. They're like, this is where we have all the goodies.
Yeah.
What did you give them a list of stuff to get when they ran, or was that?
No, I just also.
You were just like, Kobe.
They're like, yeah, you keep saying that.
You keep showing me this one image of Kobe.
That's just like
She's
that's,
like on 3 hours of sleep. COVID.
that's like the direction. That's all the direction. It's like the North Star. Kobe, man. Kobe. No, I mean I didn't tell them exactly what to get. I think that's like my. Honestly, I think that's like my beauty and my curse is like I'm back to like the camera stuff. I'm not super technical. Like and I think that's like a beautiful thing to be technical, but I also think it can be intimidating. And I think just keeping things bare bones of like, look, whatever you can find that we can put a piece of fabric on two things that will hold it together, let's do it. I think when you box someone in where it's like it needs to be C-stand and it needs to be a clamp and it needs to be, it's like, oh, I haven't found it. And especially someone, these were PAs that were younger. So I think especially with a PA, it's like, like try to eliminate some of that intimidation to like help they're creative people too. Like, so I always try to like eliminate whatever could possibly be intimidating and like encourage them to like use their creative brain to solve the solution, especially if it's like, this is a pivot situation. This is an emergency 911. So like whatever you can find, like I didn't even tell them to go to Joann's. They thought of that. It's like, oh, great. Like I'm sure they're going to have some sort of fabric. So no, I literally just said, get a piece of fabric that's kind of like a creamish off-white and two things that can hold it. Like it's that bare bones, that simple. And like, we can make that work.
Yeah. I like that.
That makes sense. You just simplify it because it's like they don't need to know all the technical terms of like the grip equipment or the backdrop equipment. It's just like here are the principles of what we need. Use your imagination.
You're like, we're beyond grip equipment.
Yeah, we're Kobe.
Yeah. Kobe.
That's the goal.
That's so cool.
So going back to this like technical thing, you're saying you could kind of eliminate the technical thing. When you were shooting, there's a lot of technical involved in that.
Yeah.
Okay. But like why what's in your kit? Like what are you using that's like simplified? Because I know a lot of like DPs they'll try to like get like the latest stuff or they'll go for like new lenses, new looks, new cameras, something to like maybe they don't know exactly how they do it, but they know enough technical ability that they can kind of like make it happen.
Sure.
Is that you, or are you someone who's like, you have, it seems like you have your set things.
Yeah, I actually just recently bought, like I don't buy new gear all the time. I do like my own set things. I just recently made my newest purchase of gear, which is like some more vintage lens. I got the Dulens. Dulens, is that how you say it? Dulens. They're like meant to be kind of like the Helios glass, but like on a way big budget.
Okay.
But that's like my first like cinematic glass that I've invested in, which is crazy to say. But even with gear, I believe the same philosophy, if you will, which is like, not that like gear doesn't matter. I know that's like a common thing. I think the gear matters, but for the type of stuff that I'm doing when I am director DP, like this isn't going to go on TV. This isn't going to be on a billboard. Like this is like social stuff that will be on YouTube or Instagram, that already like the kit that I have is like plenty. So like going overboard for this to like, for the camera itself to look a certain way is like, for who? Like who am I doing this for? That I don't see the need for it, So I do like to keep it pretty simple and as robust as possible. And I also think my biggest intentionality behind that too is that like even looking at these cameras here is like, I wouldn't want these cameras to be like if I was the subject and if I'm an athlete who's never in front of cameras, like this looks pretty intense, like it feels like a freaking, like I'm getting, every angle.
Yeah.
That like something.
We're scanning you.
Literally, like every piece.
I don't know. This feels like you're at a press conference.
It'd be weirder if there was like 4 people.
Yeah.
Sweating behind each one of these.
with headphones on and just like locked in.
Let's be real. Those 4 people would all be on their phones.
They'd all be on their
scrolling.
phones.
True.
Oh my God.
Very true. But yeah, I try to also be mindful of like keeping a setup that feels low key and like friendly as much as possible, rather than something that's like
less
intimidating.
Intense.
Yeah.
And is this something, have you perfected it to the point, because you're saying you're traveling via plane to these jobs and stuff, have you perfected this to a point where you have like a case? Because I feel like you're the person who has like the spot for
Yes.
everything. Very much like John. I'm the person that's just like, dump it all in. Fucking figure it out when we get there.
No, I definitely have figured it to a T. So I now am traveling with two C70s, which is also relatively new. I used to only travel with one C70 and like batteries and lens and monitor for that. But actually, like maybe 2 or 3 times ago that I was in New York, I had my C70 every single day before a shoot. I'll like turn on the camera just to make sure, you know, still turns on, still working. And this one time, I guess this is another where things go wrong. I turned on the camera and all of a sudden I just saw lines, like straight lines on my monitor. And this was the day before a shoot on a Friday, or it was a Saturday in New York City, which, you know, in Saturday in New York City,
Can't get anything.
nothing is open. So the only place open was K&M down.
Okay.
I guess at that point, I think they were like down in Soho-ish area. And I was able to
K&M
like,
rentals, I think they're called. Or...
they do have rentals, but not on Saturday.
Okay.
But they have a
sell
store.
There's a store.
They have,
Okay.
Yeah, they've got a
Gotcha.
storefront. So I was able to like buy an R5C, but after that scenario, I bought it and then returned it the next day.
K&M.
Literally, because that was
Sponsor us.
that was the only camera they had. That was like literally all they had on the shelf.
Were you trying to get another C70?
I was, yeah, because I had no other option. I was shooting the next day and my camera was no longer.
You didn't try anything like share grid or...
I did, but no, I know that sounds crazy. Nothing was available on this one Saturday.
It's not that crazy, but yeah. I mean...
I tried.
Especially when you're trying to like get it
right away.
Yeah.
I guess if it's the day before, it's
It
good
was
luck.
crazy.
Yeah.
So then, ever since then, because I know photographers typically travel with 2 cameras. I don't know maybe so they can have a lens on each camera, or if it's for like a fail-safe.
I feel like it's
For
having
lens on each
telephoto
camera.
and wide.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. But ever since then, I now travel with 2 C70s just in case, and one rarely ever gets touched. But yeah, I have 2 C70s. I now have the dual lens, so now I hope I'm saying that right, but I have 3 different dual lenses.
What focal lengths?
They're funky. It's like a 21, a 41, and an 85.
85's not that funky, but
85's
41
not-
is
41
definitely
is.
like,
I know.
why is it one more than a 40?
I know. But I chose those 2 because of the crop on the C70. So the 41 really, like the 21 and the 41 really gets me to like a 35 and like a 50, like more true to a 50.
Oh, so an 85 is like a 100 or like
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So those are my 3 like newest additions, and then I have an on-camera mic. I have a what is it? Is it a Sennheiser? Yeah, I think it's a Sennheiser. See, I like don't even know.
You just have things that work.
I have things that
You're
work.
like-
Oh, sometimes.
Yeah.
I like this thing
Don't
'cause
jinx
it
me.
works.
Yeah,
And it's easy, probably. I
Yeah.
see you don't want the tech to get in the way of, yeah.
No, I mean I have a
I mean, you probably picked the mic based on a price point though, as well, or did you just pick it because you recognize the name?
yeah, I just picked it because I recognized the name.
Okay.
I mean, and I knew it was a solid like shotgun mic. Like I had tried with the Rode mics, but it didn't feel very solid, and I knew this Sennheiser one was like higher quality and better for me. But like when you said that, I don't like care about it. Like I shoot with a Atomos Ninja monitor. And I don't have any LUTs on there. I don't record raw. Like I don't use that monitor for any of the like get ups that I could use the monitor for. Just
You're
literally
straight up just a monitor.
just the monitor.
That's like
But-
the bulkiest monitor you could have for that.
literally. So I like literally yesterday somebody on set was asking me like, "Oh, do you have a LUT?" I'm like, "Nope." I just use the monitor. So
Do you
yeah.
record to the monitor? You're like, no.
no. Literally just it's there to just see the image.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a pretty nice monitor though.
But you know
Yeah,
how
it
to
is.
use it. It seems like you have things that you know how to use, and like having it be seamless where it doesn't, you're not stopping having to figure something out. It's just like,
Yeah.
I hit this button, it does this thing, and then I'm gone. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
And then do you probably, that's all carry on. You don't check that bag, right?
Oh my gosh, yeah. No, I'm terrified of the day. You know when like airlines are like, "Oh, it's a booked flight. Like we're gonna have to check your bag." I'm like, you're not checking this bag. Like, and they're like, "Do you have any lithium-ion batteries?" I'm like, "This whole thing is lithium.
This whole thing's a battery.
This whole thing is a battery. You don't want this underneath that airplane." But
Yeah.
yeah, I'm always everything's packed up in the Pelican in like a backpack. I don't
Yeah.
check anything. Who do you guys? I guess.
I check stuff.
See, that's scary.
Just get air tags.
Yeah.
Just throw air tags and zip
So what
ties.
You check your
happens,
camera
like-
too?
I check everything.
Wow.
Yeah.
Has it ever happened where like you're in Kansas and your bag is in?
One time a tripod ended up in a different city, and
Okay.
we literally were driving. It was with you, remember? We were driving
Apocalypse,
all
yeah.
around Illinois, and Delta was trying to fly it to me. So they would fly it to one airport because I'd be like, I'll be near this airport. They'll fly it to me.
Oh.
But they were delayed, and then they were like, it's at that airport. I'm like, well, I'm not near that airport anymore. Now I'm near St. Louis.
Jeez.
And they're like, all right, we'll fly to you. So the tripod actually flew to like 6 different airports.
That tripod got miles on
It did. I
Let me
wish
be
I got
clear,
the miles.
This is only a thing that happens to Mike. This is not something that anyone else could facilitate. But Mike would just be like, "Nah, fuck the airport. They're gonna the airline. They're gonna make it
No,
work for
they
me."
kept flying that tripod
From
to
spot
like
to
different
spot.
Midwestern airports, and
That's
they kept
crazy.
missing me by a day. And I was like, I can't do anything. I'm literally
Yeah.
like, and they were like willing to drive it to me.
Wow.
And then they ended up flying it in. They're like, we're just gonna keep it here. So then when you get there, and so we picked it up. But it was like
Wow.
3 days later. At that point, we were just sticking the camera, like these big cameras, on C stands, like fucking.
Wow.
on tables and shit. Yeah.
True shitty rigs.
Yeah, it was like,
I
you know,
love
at a
it.
point, you just, when you're missing something, you have to
You figure it
adapt
out.
around it. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I think that's like I love everything about shitty rigs because it's what I believe in too, where it's like, man, just figure it out. Like you can get all technical and like you can have everything, but the truth of the matter is 9 times out of 10, it's not gonna be how you want it to be. So do you have the ability to figure it out?
Yeah, I mean,
You
and
know?
that's the thing too. It's like your job, you know, when you were directing more, or even when you were doing the job where like the night before you had to pivot for the activation. Like your job became troubleshooting
Yeah.
stuff, not just technically, but also with the client. There's a huge troubleshooting component that I don't think people are taught when you go to film school. It's like, here's how it works. Here's what you do. Here's the thing. It's like, great,
Totally.
you're ready to go. It's like, no, there's a whole area that like, and you can only learn that from experience. You can't
Right.
really teach. I mean, I guess you can kind of teach it, but not really. Like you have to learn it. You have to fail to kind of figure it out.
yeah,
For sure.
you do have to fail to figure it out.
There's another component of like just what you do that I'd love to touch on, which is like the post workflow. So
Yeah.
I know that when you're directing and DPing, you're also editing your stuff, right? And you're also going in as an editor, like you're probably being more selective about how much you shoot, right? But then what are you bringing in terms of, you know, like a laptop or hard drives and stuff like that? What's part of like your travel kit for post? And what is your workflow like when you're back, you know, home in Dallas, or if you're working on location? How do you get all that stuff turned around so quickly?
Yeah, I am sometimes brought on as the editor as well, depending on turnaround times. And so I have like a MacBook Pro that is pretty like spec'd out to a T. The only thing that's not all the way spec'd out is the like internal space, which I've recently heard someone, and it's got my mind thinking. They said like just spec out the laptop to have like 8 terabytes of internal storage and get rid of SSDs completely, and just like put everything locally. Which, I mean, I like went to Apple to like see how much that would be, and I think that's like a $14,000 computer. But I guess you wouldn't be buying SSDs anymore. I don't know. I love my SSDs, so like I'm gonna keep with
I mean, it would have
SSDs.
to be an 8 terabyte M.2 SSD, right? That's
Totally.
the only way, and those drives are mad expensive.
Totally. So I mean, I have a MacBook Pro, and then my go-to hard drive of choice recently has been the Glyphs or the Glyphs. Glyphs.
Yeah.
Pretty expensive, but pretty reliable, pretty fast.
Did you get burned? Is that why you went Glyph?
Have I?
Everyone who like is obsessed with Glyph got burned.
Tell us
Yeah.
your burn story.
Man, I mean, it started with Lacey's, which like I used maybe once.
The Ruggeds.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's it's such a shame because they're so pretty. Like it's so it's
I
like
have never had an issue with them. Fortunately,
Really?
when we used to use them, I still have 4 Ruggeds in our cabinet
Wow.
that I hold on. I was like, I love these drives. Yeah,
But you've heard that like everyone has issues. No.
It's never
okay.
happened to
Well,
me.
for me it's like I've had plenty of issues with the Lacey's. I mean it's like that was my first drive that
Is
I
it
started
Lacey or
with.
Well,
is it Lassie?
I have no idea.
I don't
Is it
fucking know.
Glyph or Glyph?
It's definitely Glyph. I've heard
Is it Samsung or Samsung?
I like Samsung.
So yeah, I use those, and then I like the classic Samsung SSDs, and I've only recently had some issues with that where like it would just unmount
the
randomly.
Samsung ones.
Ooh.
Yes,
Because I've heard the SanDisk ones have.
I've never used the SanDisk.
SanDisk one had a huge problem with like the 4 terabyte. It would just erase your shit.
Oh, I don't even want to risk it. I haven't heard that.
I mean, let's
but
be real. All hard drives are susceptible to that shit.
Yeah.
You just kind of get the luck of the draw at that point. Because
Yeah,
like we
for
have
sure.
those Toshibas, those black Toshibas that we use. I love those drives because they're so tiny and they're fast. But like, would I edit off of them all the time? Probably not.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
different. We use the drives differently. We're just using them as shuttles, but you're like putting them to work.
Yeah. So again, I'm like in a transition. You're catching me like in a big transitional part of my career because the latest jobs that I've been on, I haven't had to edit. Like I've had on site, like the WNBA, it was like same day turnaround, not even 24 hours, like 2 hours, some of the assets. And we had an on site editor. And I've had that now. That was my second time ever having an on site editor. So I had just a hard drive just to like collect the final drives or the final assets. But yeah, if I ever am editing, I will have a glyph.
Cliff.
We'll
We'll just dub it. We'll dub it later.
I'll have those guys on me. And
Yo, sponsors.
yeah, for real. I
Okay.
usually go for like the 4 TBs, but I recently got one that was 8 terabytes, which was crazy. But I'm loving him as well. That one's like for the Salomon doc that I'm not editing, but I just want to like have all the footage and everything in one
It's
place.
an 8 terabyte SSD Glyph drive.
Yeah.
How
That
much
has
is
to
that
be
running?
expensive as
Yeah, I
fuck.
think it was like 1,200.
Oh, that's not that bad.
Doesn't seem as bad as I would expect.
No, I thought it was
Yeah.
gonna be upwards to like 5.
Considering you're
Oh,
saying
no.
like an 8 terabyte drive in a Mac is like 14 grand.
I
Yeah.
know.
And you can edit on that
You
USB-C cable.
Yeah, you could.
That's
Yeah.
pretty solid. Do you need power for that to the wall, or is it
No.
bus powered?
Yeah.
Whoa, that's
Yeah.
pretty cool.
It's pretty like hefty. Like in the sense of like it's a power horse, but it's like tiny, like fast.
And then
It's
when you
really
are
solid.
doing this editing,
Yeah.
your software of choice is
Premiere.
Premiere.
Am I
Why'd
getting
you say it
shamed?
like that?
Because I don't know. Like I.
No, I mean I use Premiere
We're an
too.
iMovie crew right here, man.
I'm not a fan of.
I think Premiere gets a lot of hate because it also shuts like randomly bugs out.
Yeah, it does.
You know, but I edit everything in Premiere, and I'm pretty. It sounds like we're one and the same. Like I also am like I color label all of my footage. I like I'm very late. I've got all my folders, all my bins. Like I'm very
Dude,
very organized.
I have a bin I have a folder on my server that's just a templated
Me too.
for projects.
Start
Wow.
a project.
I
yeah.
just
Twin.
dump it, rename it, and then open it up,
Where
and it's
have you
all good to
been?
go. Yeah.
Yeah, no, same. I've got like a work which has all my edits, footage, assets, exports, conforms. Like I think AKA taught me that.
I
honestly.
think I stole that from AKA too. Someone
Yeah.
set that up there. I don't know who it was. but
Steven.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I've got your answers for you, Steven
Hell
did.
yeah.
Yeah, he's super into that as well. And he was like someone I leaned on a lot at AKA, especially on the editing side of things. And I think he just ingrained that in me that like your organization will help you move faster if you just take the extra 5 minutes at the front. And it has, like, especially for these quick turnarounds. Like if I am the one editing it, like to be able to resize quickly or to be able to like make revisions quickly, he like ingrained like a process in me of like always duplicating your sequence and like start again because you might want to bring your first sequence, something you had in your first sequence, into your fifth sequence. Like he just really ingrained a process into me that has allowed me to move super quick.
Yeah, we just had an intern work here who is a good editor as much as he it seems like he's just not into it, but I know he's a good editor. We have also learned he's good at coloring, but I was trying to teach him this workflow of like organizing, and I couldn't tell if he was picking up on it or cared for it, but I was like, is this making sense? Because like, if this is what you want to do, like this is how you need to operate.
Yeah.
You know, like you want everything always to be organized. You always want to go back. I know it sounds stupid, but like soon as someone gives you a note, make a new sequence so you can go back because you're gonna delete this. This timeline is not going to be the same.
Yeah.
And I caught him once, I was like, can you show me the previous timeline of what we were working on? He didn't have it. And I was like, bro, come on.
Yeah. No, it's so important. I think you don't really realize how important that is until you have a client like come and request it. And they're like, actually, we like what you did at the beginning. It's like, oh crap, I don't even have
you
that.
have to rebuild it.
Yeah, and like, I don't know. I also have people like shocked that because I keep all my footage. I don't delete any of my footage.
Mike hates it.
Oh yeah.
You delete your stuff?
Dude,
I don't
some
get
of
it.
it doesn't matter.
See,
I have a whole like
me too.
closet of just drives. Mike's like, why do we have this?
Me too.
We've got like hundreds of terabytes.
the opposites here. I love it.
Can't get rid of it. I can't. I
No,
can't.
me neither. You never
Certain
know.
projects I can let it go, but if it's like stuff that we did, I'm holding on to the raw.
You never.
Meanwhile, I'm making fun of him, but then I have like a whole box of broken electronic shit that I'm like, one day I might need this Switch.
This
or
Game
something.
Boy, I can't let it go. Yeah, no, I keep everything. And I just I can't let it go. Even like exports, like I don't delete. Like I have a whole like graveyard of like exports when it's like V1, V2, V. Like even when the project's done, I keep that like in an X folder. That's just like you never know. Like you really never know.
Yeah, for sure. Especially, I mean, for client stuff, like I think we'll keep it like a year. Like if it's raw footage and stuff, we'll always offer something like, here's a drive, take it, like you have it. But like after a year, unless it's like a project that we really want to keep, like we'll just wipe it. That's about it.
Keep
I don't
the
even like that.
proxies.
But
I'll
what are
keep
you
the
gonna-
finals. I keep the finals high res.
Okay, yeah.
And I'll keep a clean version of the final with no graphics, so I
But
have
why-
the visuals.
Why keep the proxies?
I don't want to keep the proxies.
You don't keep the proxies? Oh.
No, I'm not gonna keep the raw. I'm not gonna keep the proxies.
Yeah, what would you do with the proxies?
I don't fucking know. You're talking to the guy that wants to delete everything.
You want to throw it all away?
Yeah, I don't give a shit, dude.
Touche.
I only care about the stuff that like I actually cared about.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
wants
yeah,
the
yeah.
final. Mike needs the 4K final.
Yeah.
That's funny.
I like the final where it's like clean with text, no music. You have
Yeah.
the different versions of it, and then it's
Yeah.
like that's all I know.
Although sometimes when you're updating your reel, you're looking for
See?
the raw to like color grade and redo.
Sometimes, very,
yeah, for
very
but it's
rare.
very specific projects that you're doing
Yeah.
that for.
yeah.
Yeah.
So and then you're taking these from Premiere and then you're coloring them because we all know we've seen your slices thing and we're like, you got this vibe.
Yeah,
with
I've
your
got
color.
I got to look for sure. Yeah, I've recently started going into DaVinci. I've just noticed that is way better in terms of like if you make something warmer, like the warmth that is added in DaVinci is just like it feels truly like you're changing the metadata versus in Premiere it feels like a digitized layer. So I'll like export an XML out of Premiere, bring that into DaVinci, color that, export it out of DaVinci, bring it back over, export an XML out of DaVinci, bring that into Premiere, and then rebuild my sequence.
Oh, interesting. You're not burning the LUT into the footage and bringing back a graded clip.
No. What? Burning the LUT onto the footage. Say that again.
So, like in Premiere, you're
Yeah.
sending an XML to DaVinci.
Correct.
You're doing the color, and then you send an XML back to Premiere. But are you bringing
Yeah,
back
with the
color
burn-
graded
Oh, with the
footage?
color on it.
Oh,
Yeah,
got
yeah.
it. I thought you meant you were just bringing the XML back and adding
No,
like
yeah.
a LUT.
No, yeah. So I
You
bring.
can do that. You
Yeah,
can bring a
no,
LUT.
individual LUTs for each.
Yeah,
I don't know.
No. Yeah, I bring it back. I think the one thing that I do that has surprised people again for process is like if I'm working on if 9x16 is like my hero asset, I still will color grade it. And this is again learned at AKA because I would like color prep things for the mill. I'd still do it all natively. So I like bring it back to 4K, send that XML over to DaVinci in 4K, color it, send it back over, and then rebuild it. But I always will have like the 4K. I'm working off of a 4K colored image, which makes the resizing way faster because now I'm not coloring however many resizes. I've just colored one that I'm now resizing into however many resizes of like a 1x1, a 4x5, and I'm at like 16x9, whatever it is, versus recoloring each sequence to try to like match the same look.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's the same footage. It's just different sizes,
Yeah.
basically, right?
Yeah,
So I know you
exactly.
don't put LUTs on your monitor, but do you have... I mean, can you put a LUT on a C70?
Yeah, on
Yeah,
the
you can.
monitor you
You
can.
put a
Do
lot
you
of-
put any LUTs on your C70 when
No,
you're
no, I
shooting?
don't.
So are
I've
you-
got the fancy monitor for no reason.
Oh, interesting. So you bring it in, and you already, but you know what you're exposing to, basically, because you're using the same camera. So you already know what you're aiming for in post in your
Yeah.
head.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And you have these preset looks in DaVinci at this point right now.
Yeah, I've colored like so much of my stuff. Like I guess I just have so much experience having to be a one-man band that it forces you to like if you want it to look as best as possible, like you need to become a good sound designer, become a good, like, I feel like I'm decent at most. But if I could get things, if there was budget to professionally color grade things, I would always opt for that. But because that's usually like not, the budget is usually in the crew for the actual shoot and not in post whatsoever. So I've had to like figure out I've had to figure it out so that it can still look beautiful on the other side of it. So I've now developed some like different looks that I go to that I know will fit with, to your point, like how I'm exposing and how I'm shooting in the different like environments that I'm shooting in, that it has become quite fast for me to just throw my LUT on there and then tweak it from there.
I mean, that's cool because like you can just get right into the edit and then throw a LUT in and then just export it. You know, at least for reference to your client, like before you come back and like tweak everything in. You
Totally.
just have at least like something.
Yeah, that's super helpful because
Yeah.
I feel like that's a big thing. Like when I know, like we look at it, we're very good. When you're in the industry, you're very good at looking past imperfections.
Totally.
But when you're sharing like a rough cut and it doesn't have color or it has just like some weird ass Premiere fucking shit on it,
Yeah.
people are like, they can't see fucking past that. They're like, why are people's skin tone look like
Yeah.
that? You're like, don't worry about it. Like, they'll be
Which-
fixed later.
I almost like, it's actually what's coming to mind now is like yesterday when I was on set, we were shooting like interview style, podcast style things, but it was like more lifestyle, a little bit more editorial. And we were just looking off my monitor and like it felt very like interviewee and not very elevated. But then when I went home and I threw the LUT on it and sent it to client, they're like, okay, like this is dope. So it's making me think like maybe having the LUT on hand to see it like in real life could be pretty beneficial. Back to like my whole reference, like have them see it, you know? But I think the reason I've never done it to contradict that is like the frame or like what we're shooting should feel good without any sort of stylized look on top of
Yeah,
it.
no,
I think we can get lost in
I
this
think-
whole look.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. And,
You know?
and sometimes when you have that look on your monitor, you're leaning into it so hard that you're just like, oh, whatever. Like, this looks so cool. Like, it's like, but then you like look at like the composition and stuff and you're like, it's not as great as it could be.
Yeah.
You know?
I think not having the LUT on set forces you to like really stick to the basics, you know,
it's
versus
also
getting
like,
lost.
for me, I always love, it's very similar to like when you're shooting film. It's like, you know, it's like you take the picture and then when you get it back, it looks better than you could have like imagined
Totally.
most of the time. So it's like when you're shooting it and people see it on, they're like, as long as you like how this looks right
It's
now,
only going to get better.
It's only going to get better.
Yeah. I completely agree.
Versus like showing them the best
Yes.
and then you send it back to them and they're like,
Yeah. No,
what if like we made it, you know?
Yeah.
I completely. It's like part of the dance of like managing a client to like have them be as happy with you as possible.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there is a layer to that because you want, like, especially I know when we do edits sometimes you just like leave something in there that they're like, oh, they're probably not gonna like that, and they're like, focus on that one thing.
Yeah.
Like get rid of that. So it's
Yeah.
like, okay, cool, but no other
Everything
notes? And
else
they're
got
like,
approved.
all right,
Yeah.
cool. Sick.
It's so funny. There really is such a like navigation within that of like because similarly I would be like I think they're gonna comment on this, but then they'll maybe not even see this other part that I'm way more excited about. So like have them because they just have to have a word, you know. It's like
Yeah.
they need to say something.
Yeah, but it's like that's part of like managing expectations and
Right.
everything. I agree. Like I think people lean too hard on that. Like we gotta have the LUT, we gotta have the accurate color on set.
Yeah.
It's like these fucking cameras shoot like insane now.
Yeah.
Like this was a thing back in the day. Like
Yeah.
when you're like, we gotta paint the cameras, we gotta like make sure it looks as best as we can when
Totally.
we record it. Now it's like, dude, you can mix most of these cameras together.
Yeah.
There's
Which-
no issue mixing a C70 with an Alexa or like a Red with an Alexa anymore.
Totally.
That doesn't exist.
Totally.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I think if you have
As long
the
as you're
time,
exposing them, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you have the time and like the creative is really built around that specific like
Color.
emotion that the color is giving the content that you're making, then yeah, it makes total sense, right, Hefe? It makes total sense.
Well, I think it's important like when you're doing product shit
Yeah.
and the color
Yeah.
has to match something.
Yeah. Well, what I have found challenging actually is like a lot of these shoots that I'm on nowadays, there's also always a photographer. And the photographer always has, I don't know what they call
Strobes.
it. Definitely strobes. But what's their person? Like, are they also
Oh,
for the
they're
DIT?
like photo assistant. Yeah,
Yeah, the
that
person,
has
like-
The cart
puts the
guy.
LUT on
Yeah,
the
so like
photo. Yeah.
I'm shooting and then I look over at their monitor, like their computer, and it's like this beautifully cropped, colored, like, you know, they I think clients are have, like, the photographer has conditioned them to like see the end result, and then sometimes they'll even already have the like mock-up ready where they just like throw the logo on. It's like, here's your finished thing within 2 seconds of shooting the image. So it can be tough on the video side of things where it's like, no, we can't operate that fast. Like there is more steps to this process that
It's
I
very
think
easy. You just say, I'm shooting 24 of those per second.
literally
Yeah.
literally, and you're shooting one, like,
But-
yeah,
I think that also comes down to the conversation about like what the language is for each of those mediums, right? Because with a photo, one photo has to say a lot.
it's got to sit.
But like with motion, it's like you have language, you have dialogue, you have the performance, and then you have the actual look, like the color, and then
Yeah.
the composition and everything else around it, what's in the frame. So there's a whole other spectrum of layers to it. So
Yeah.
like you can hide all this other shit. But like with a photo, it's like, I guess you can Photoshop stuff out, but like with a photographer, you got one moment to get this person right now. I need to see what it's going to look like because we
Yeah.
got to print this like
Yeah.
today.
Yeah, and I almost feel like, it's, to your point, like these cameras are so like big, dude. Like they just have the color science and like the metadata within the files. Like I'm not worried about the LUT. Like I'm not worried about the color after. Like we're gonna get it to look cool. Don't worry. Let's just focus on the performance. Like I don't want you worried about anything other than like what are we capturing and what's right in front of us. Like
Because that's something you can't hide.
we can't fix that. We
Yeah.
can't fix that in post. So like, did we nail it or not? Because if we're worried about like, like, you know what I mean? Like I'm not to say that like, let's fix it in post, but like there's the performance, we can't fix it in post.
No.
So I think it's, back to like client managing. It's like making it so that they can only focus on that and not get lost in all these other variables. I think benefits you, even if like it's not the most prettiest thing they'll be looking at while on set.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
Have you ever had any client notes come back and totally change the scope of what you originally were
Clearly she
trying
has.
to-
She just laughed.
Man, so many times. I think more times than not. Yeah.
For
And
stuff that you've shot or directed and that you were editing?
yeah. Yeah. And it's become like, or even things that like they just are super green and they didn't even know they needed it until they needed it, you know? And it'll like
Super green,
like just super brand new in the video
Oh, okay.
space. Like it's like we just did an entire film for Hoka, and nothing in those deliverables like included any sort of like trailer or teaser or social cut down. It was just a film like that was gonna live on this magazine, on a like trail running magazine website. Magazine. I'm like, how does a video live on a hard copy magazine? But yeah, there was like no thought of that. Thankfully, like they know enough that like asking for that would be a whole other, deliverable request. And then they ended up deciding not to do it. But that, from a creative standpoint, hurts because it's like, man, now we're not setting this project up for success. Like now it's just this one long form video that's like living in
That
it.
you're hoping that people.
Yeah.
You got to drive people to that video.
Yeah. So it does. I've experienced it in that way where it just wasn't even thought of, or I've experienced it in like, oh, this looks so great. Can we like have 10 more? Can we do 10 more of these? But more times than not, they understand that means more money. It hasn't ever been a situation where it's like same price, more. It's like no, we're working with a budget here. I've learned to like be pretty good about like, this is your set. Like these are your set deliverables.
Yeah.
You
I
know?
mean, you have to be, because otherwise, and also like rounds of revisions too. It's
Yeah.
like you get this many that we agreed on. Otherwise, now we're outside of scope because I got to either move on to the next project
Right.
or like you got to pay me more for
Right.
my time.
And I communicate that if you were to look at my emails, it's maybe a little insane, but I just think it's important to be as communicative as possible, maybe even over communicate. So like every time I send in an edit, it always comes along with like, friendly reminder, this is a V2. We have one more cut after this. I'm expecting your feedback by tomorrow at 5:00. if I don't receive your feedback by 5 o'clock, then V3 will not be there. The time, like, I like really spell it all out.
You two are the same fucking person.
Oh, we are. Oh, yeah.
I'm literally like, I'll send a cut and be like, here it is. Good weekend. Have a good weekend.
Yeah.
You know what though? You love me when I'm like, when I send that email out and they either don't respond and they ask for more, or they don't want to pay, and you're like, what did you write in that email? When
Exactly.
did you send
No,
it? All
for
right,
sure,
this is
for
where they
sure.
fucked up. Like,
Because then I'll just literally like screenshot it and paste it in there. I'm like,
Yeah, it's like acts as your like contract in a way. You
yeah,
know?
it's like a receipt. It's
Yeah.
like you delivered it. These are the terms.
Yeah.
yeah,
Because a lot of editing is like it's back and forth, you know.
Mm-hmm.
It's a collaborative process still between them and you. Like
Yeah.
if they're not going to respond in a timely manner, then that fucks up your whole shit.
Yeah.
And then that's where projects start to fall apart, where like it starts dragging
Yeah.
in
Which is
post-production.
that's why I've built in like you need, in order for us to, if you want this delivered on the 15th, like this is the schedule we have to hit. So
Yeah.
and that schedule includes your feedback, your collective feedback is given to me on whatever day. And like because I've had it sometimes where it's like the art director chimes in, they're like, oh wait, but I also have to send it to this person. It's like, well, this is collective feedback. So like
have that conversation before you come to me. And
exactly.
Then drop it all.
Because
in.
oftentimes, I mean, and you know what I think I always say that like having the experience of working in-house has like really prepared me for that, because I know that like from working at Daily Harvest, ClassPass, and AKA that like there's multiple people that need to have an opinion. It's not just the one producer that I'm working with. So I'm trying to like bank that in of like, okay, like you know that you need to talk to multiple people. So I'm almost implying like collective means talk to whoever you got to talk to, send it to legal, send it to the copy, like send it to whoever needs to see this, because if we go beyond these 3 revisions, it'll be more money, you know?
Yeah.
What would you say to someone that maybe, because you're someone who's pivoted and now you're doing this very specific niche thing and you're getting contacted by brands, what would you say to someone who's hesitant about like showing their work or something? Because it is like a real kind of tough thing to like put your work out there, and I don't know why it is, but it is, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's tough because it's like it's kind of vulnerable, right? Like to put it out there almost is implying like I think this is good, you know? It's like, and it's such a subjective thing where it's like, you know, that's what's tough is like in the financial world, it's like the numbers are the numbers and this is a fact. Whereas in the creative world, it's like could be cool, could be trash. Like depends who's really looking at it and whose opinion it is. So I think it definitely comes back to like having enough confidence and security within yourself that this is not the last thing you're ever going to make. Like another project is going to come around the corner, and it's almost kind of cool where it's like, yeah, I'm putting this out there. Maybe I don't love it. Maybe I'm sure there's a handful of things I want to change. I think most people in the creative world would feel that about their work. But if you never post this and no one's ever going to see it, and that could be the job that like that one person does see the potential and they do like call you for the other, you know what I mean? Like there's always like, you have to play the what if game, that if you can't play the what if game if none of your work lives out there. So I think, I mean, even to this day, there's everything I've posted, I have like 20 notes for myself of like, I would change this, I would change that, I would change this. So like, if there's anything that I could encourage, it's like everything that I've ever posted has like in one way or another shaped the next client that has called me, because that's been my main source of like inbound requests is like someone saw something on Instagram that what you're posting really matters. So I wouldn't post things that you don't want to do more of. That's for sure. I would just post more things that you do want to do more of. So if all you're doing is interviews of like medical assistants, but you don't want to do that anymore, don't post that. Go and like shoot something that you like. If you want to be doing, I don't know, National Geographic, like go shoot some birds in your local park. And no, it doesn't have the budget that like the medical assistant one does. So it's not going to show perhaps like the full breadth of what you're capable of. But at the end of the day, like someone who has a creative eye and has a creative vision will be able to like sense the potential within your frames of your bird in the park that like will snowball you into the type of work that you want to do. Does that make sense?
Well, it's essentially like manifest what you want.
Yeah.
Like, don't wait for it. Do it on your own time.
Yeah.
And kind of like treat your social presence or your social platform as where you want to go and not where you're at.
Yeah, because I think too, it's like a lot of times I'll talk to people and they'll be like, oh, I really want to get into sports. Like, how did you get these clients in sports? And then I'll go click on their profile and they have nothing about sports on their profiles. And I think if you just break it down very simply, if you were to talk to me and I tell you, like, I love dogs. Like, dogs are my number one thing. I like to walk dogs. I like to groom dogs. Like, I just love dogs. But then you, like, come to my house. I have nothing about dogs. You go to my Instagram. I've got nothing. Like, there's no proof other than my words that I like dogs.
You're a liar.
You're a little like, you know what I mean?
You like dogs?
It's like, and it's like almost if anything, you see that I have a cat. Or
Yeah.
you see that I have a cat shirt. Like, it's almost like you see the opposite. It's confusing. So I think similarly with our work, it's like if you're saying you love sports, but then your whole page is like not sports at all, and it's like something totally different, no sports brand is going to hire you. Because there's no, what's that word? Synchronicity? No. Synchronicity?
I think.
Thank you. We'll use it.
We'll find that in the comments.
Yeah.
Synergy.
But like no synergy.
Synergy.
Yes.
Yeah, there you go.
There's no synergy to it, right? So it's like it does not need to be a commercial by Nike. Like, it doesn't need to be an official thing for it to, like, I guess it what I am saying is like do your spec work, but it doesn't even, I feel like even that has its own, well, that means I need to invest 10 grand. It's like, no, like I did all my slices for $0 with what I had in front of me. I was the subject. I used my apartment. Like, I had nothing fancy,
Yeah.
you know?
You're saying it's better to make something than to like hold back.
Yeah.
Like, just make it and get it out there.
Yeah.
Because eventually you're gonna find what you're looking for, what you're trying to say,
Yeah.
versus like trying to like think about it
Yeah.
too much. You know?
And it really just takes one person. Like, it's not that I have thousands and thousands of followers. Like, it just takes the right person from the right brand to see it, save the post, and then like bring you up for the next project that feels right. But it'll feel right if it's also right to you. Like, if you're making what feels right to you, then those jobs are gonna be like, oh, finally, like, I've always wanted to do this. Like, I love dogs. I've always, you know what I mean? It's like, this is what I've been waiting for. But if you've never posted that job for the dog is never going to come.
I love how your whole career and everything you're doing now is really just to get somewhere where you can work with dogs.
Isn't that everyone's goal, though?
Man.
She's like, I'm doing this Nike commercial so I can work with dogs
Yeah.
in the future.
Which, you know,
You're like, I'm close, really close.
So close. He's right there.
oh, can almost touch it.
Well, Alex, thanks so much for, coming on the podcast, for talking with me and Mike, and just sharing so much of like just your experience and your background. If you could take a second and just tell people where they could find you, like on your website or Instagram and all that good stuff, and how they can reach out to you and check out some stuff and potentially hire you to shoot stuff for dogs.
Yeah. Thank you guys for having me. I have an Instagram. It's at It's Tellez, ITSTELLEZ. And then my website is my full government, alexandratellez.com.
Nice. All right. Well, we'll put all that information in the description below as well. And then, thanks you guys for tuning in, for listening, watching. If you were watching, you got to see Hefe sleeping the whole time throughout the podcast.
I basically told him a nighttime story.
Yeah. Right before we started rolling, and you passed out. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you guys on the next one.
So yeah.